Mike's hot boots on the ground, troops coming heavy with the no-nonsense sound. Ain't no filters, we'd break the mold. Stories hidden, swept away, now they're getting told. Spotlights hit, the tension pops. We ain't here for nothing but the real damn drops. We're busting bubbles, taking names, cussing and discussing, changing the game. No smoke, no mirrors, no curtain calls. Piss on the fire and call the dogs. Steel chairs, cold stairs, backstage heat. Legends fall when we bring that beat. Voices sharp, we cutting right through. Best damn team, yeah, you know it's true. We ain't your daddy's play-by-play. We call it raw, we're here to stay. From bell to bell, win or loss. Truth don't care who signs the checks or calls the boss. Putting out fires, taking names, cussing and discussing, fueling the flames. Standing tall when the last bell call. Piss on the fire and call the dogs.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this special edition of Cussin Discussin. I am the Doctor of Professional Wrestling, Mike Blankenship, PhD. Alongside me this afternoon, the excellence of elocution, Walter Dixon. Sir, we're not in the community center today.
No, sir. We are in the humble abode of the excellence himself.
We in the castle is what you're telling me.
Right. Mi casa e tu casa.
I don't speak French. Well, I did take French, but I don't know that I speak it.
I think it's actually Spanish.
You speak Spanish too?
A little bit. Just enough to get me in trouble.
I couldn't speak a lick.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Si este lado se donde viví.
Don't know what he said, but...
Cargo en la leche.
I don't know whether to agree with you or scream.
Well, actually, we did cargo en la leche when we tried this the last time.
If you say we did, we did.
We did.
All right. We're going to review WrestleMania VII again. Needless to say, what, 2 weeks ago now? Well, no, last
week and a half.
Week and a half ago. Yeah. We tried this and we done good. We done real good.
Well, if you watched this week's episode of Cussin and Discussin, we explained what happened there. For those that haven't watched it yet,
go back and watch it.
There was the Doc Cargo in La Leche.
I must have.
Yes.
Whatever that means. If you insist, then we did.
Yes.
But, yeah, so I guess we're going to...
Leche being milk, cargo being the thing that's in the milk.
Well, in the milk.
In the milk. In la leche. Cargo in la leche. So, in the milk.
Well, the milk ain't worth it then.
Right. The milk is done. The milk is
But no, we're going to try this one more time, and hopefully we get it right. And
by the way, some of you may recognize the surroundings if you watched our interview with Hitting the Ropes with Brock's Boulder.
Yeah, we were right here in this very room doing that.
Right here in this room, in front of these windows. Well, yeah.
Yeah, these
in
windows.
Front of these windows.
Yeah.
At this very table with this very fancy black tablecloth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff.
Same stuff.
It's like deja vu or something.
Deja vu all over again.
Yeah. But here we are.
Only this time there's an awkward brown dog walking around here.
He doing something. I don't know what he's up to.
Yeah.
But
As long as he don't trip over a cord, we'll be in good shape.
yeah, he should be all right. He's big enough to weed his way through and make things happen. Hi, dog.
He's right there. He is. You can
He's back here.
see him a little bit.
Yeah. Oh,
He likes to lick. He's a pup. He's only about 6 months, 7 months old.
he got some growing.
Yeah, he got some growing to do. Anyway,
We've
as the doc said, we are going to do a fan request review.
Nick Opalewski asked us, 2 weeks
Two and a half
now,
weeks ago? Yeah.
to review WrestleMania VII, and we told him we would, and we did.
We
and
honor our fans' requests as long as they're reasonable. I mean, we're not going to start an OnlyFans or anything, but
oh,
Doc, did you start an OnlyFans?
no,
Folks, do not subscribe to that. Do not.
I'm bullshitting.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 7. You think WrestleMania 7 what? I was 9 during
Yeah,
WrestleMania
I would have been
7. You'd have been
about 7.
7.
7 would have been 8 that year, but obviously it happened before my birthday. So
Yes, that's the same with me. Superstars and Stripes Forever took place March 24th, 1991, Los Angeles, California, at the Los Angeles the Memorial Sports Arena. It was originally slated to be at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, but moved to...
well, it was held in the Memorial Coliseum, or was rather supposed to be held in the Memorial Coliseum. Ended up being held in the LA Sports Arena, where the Los Angeles Clippers played at that time. The Coliseum being where the Los Angeles Raiders played. However, I smell a dog fart.
I do too.
Anyway,
You do that,
stuff
dog.
like that's going to happen today, folks. It's okay. It's a special edition.
Well, that's special, all right.
Anyway,
Past helping.
the running theory is that they moved it to the sports arena from the Memorial Coliseum due to security reasons.
Yeah.
You can go back and just a quick Google search will tell you some of the things that were going on in Los Angeles in 1991. And for that reason, in that area where the Raiders played, they thought that may not be the best place to hold the show.
Let's move it across the road.
Right. But also, the Memorial Coliseum was a much bigger venue. And WWE was afraid that they would not sell the tickets. It is a arguable scenario. It is an arguable reason, but the truth is they were not going to sell out the Coliseum.
No.
And it was going to be much better if they moved it to the LA Sports Arena.
They still ended up with 16,158 in attendance, which by today's standards, even by that time frame standards, was not a big crowd.
Yeah, it was not a big crowd considering what WrestleMania 3 was
69,000 in the Pontiac Silverdome.
Yes. I don't know what the numbers were on 4 and 5. Actually,
we got access. I forgot all about
we
that.
We have WrestleMania. Attendance numbers a year. So let's look at this.
Yeah. Pontiac Silverdome was right at almost 70,000 people. I'm pretty sure of the number on that one.
There we go. So, WrestleMania 1 had an attendance of 19,121. WrestleMania 2, held in multiple venues, had 16,585, 9,000, and 14,500. WrestleMania 3 was 93,173.
93,000.
Yeah.
93,000 Pontiac Silver.
WrestleMania 4 was 18,165. WrestleMania 5 was 18,946. WrestleMania 6 was 67,678
That
in
was
the
at
Sky
Dome, yes, in Toronto.
The Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena, which was where it's supposed to be held, is actually held at the...
Memorial.
Yeah, it was held at the arena, not
the
the
arena, not the
Coliseum.
Coliseum.
Was 16,158. And then the very next show, the 8th, was 62,167. And then it takes a bit of a drop to 16,8, 19,4, 16,3, 18,8, 18,1, 19, 19,5, 18, and then it isn't until WrestleMania 17 in Houston, Texas at the Reliant Astrodome that we start to see those big numbers again at 67,9.
Right. And gradually they've grown.
Right. It takes a dip here and there for a few years, and then it'll shoot back up to 70, 80,000 for the last... Wow. For the last 18 years, it has been over 70,000 every year.
Except for the COVID year and...
Well, even...
you couldn't...
What was COVID year?
19...
Well, I'm trying to figure out...
2020.
19... Yeah, 2020. So, yeah, there's no number for that.
Right, because
it was
all televised.
It was at the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
But there's no numbers for that one. So yeah, but from 2007, WrestleMania 23, Detroit, Michigan, Ford Field was 80,000, and then from there it never dips below 71,000.
Pretty good.
WrestleMania 32 at AT&T Stadium set the all-time attendance record for WrestleMania at 101,763.
Yeah, but that's a two-night event.
That is a two-night event, yes.
So, arguable.
Right.
But no, we're going to talk about WrestleMania 7.
Yes.
And, folks, it's a 14-match card, so this is one of those that you need to go get you something to drink, sit down, come back, and enjoy, because we're in it for the long haul on this one.
When we done this show the first time, it was as part of Cussin and Discussin, so there was a few other segments.
Right.
And it ran 4 hours.
Yeah.
We can realistically expect this one to run about 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting the night off with Willie Nelson in the middle of the ring.
Yes.
Singing America the Beautiful.
Yes.
And, I was kind of surprised. Los Angeles, California, and they went with Willie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you would understand it a little more if it was in
Texas, Oklahoma,
maybe even Kansas, Colorado, or in Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Alabama. But also, Willie is one of very few country singers that is loved and respected essentially the world over.
Yes, really and honestly, you're telling the truth. I mean, it's, Willie Nelson is somebody that everybody can gravitate to at some point.
I also would like to raise this question. What are the odds Willie was high?
If you was a betting man, 5-2 would be real good. I mean,
I'm going to say there's probably a 90% chance that Willie was high.
Steiner math, 101
167.6%.
8%. Yeah, Willie was bloating the creek. I mean, he was.
Now that's not to say
wasn't.
that's not to say that his rendition of America the Beautiful was bad. It was not.
It
was
was not. It
beautiful.
was actually beautiful,
but
Willie brought it in. I mean, he really done a good job with that.
Yeah, but the fact that he was in Los Angeles and even though his drug of choice was not legal then, it was understood that there was a plethora of it in the vicinity.
Well, yeah.
And Willie didn't travel without it regardless. So
no, during that time, and I'd say still.
No, Willie still does not.
He may say he don't, but
Willie does not travel without it.
Yeah.
As Toby Keith once said, I may discount bungee jump, but I'll never smoke weed with Willie again.
That's it. So we start the night off with Gorilla Monsoon on commentary.
Yes.
He is immediately joined by Hacksaw Jim Duggan for the opening match. And notice, Jim Duggan is nowhere else on this card.
Yes.
14 matches. Jim Duggan does not appear on this card, but he is in Los Angeles for WrestleMania VII.
Yeah.
And that's kind of awkward because, I mean, he's from New York. So they had to fly him from New York, and I'm sure his lovely wife went with him.
Yes.
Had to fly them from New York to Los Angeles to do this. And, yeah, you think about it.
Well, at this period in time, Jim Duggan was a well-loved individual.
And it was an American-themed.
Right. And
pay-per-view.
Who more patriotic in the WWE at the time?
More patriotic than some would say Hulk Hogan.
Yes,
at that
absolutely.
Time. Jim Duggan always on hand to do something. And he comes out, joins Gorilla Monsoon on commentary for the opening match. The Rockers, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, taking on Bobby the Brain Heenan's Haku and the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Going into this match, I thought this would be a pretty one-sided thing because, you got to realize it's been 30-some years since I've watched this, and now I'm going back and watching it, and I'm like, okay, was this around the time the Rockers were starting to go downhill? And later on in the year it would be, but at this point, that match actually was the best of two styles. You had the speed and agility with the Rockers, the power and finesse of Barbarian and Haku.
Would you call it finesse?
What else to call?
Well,
sheer strength.
It was power and brutality for sure, but I do agree with you that they possessed a level of finesse in the ring. It was technical acumen.
Yes.
Haku and Barb, they did possess a level of finesse that it was because of their technical acumen.
And
some people wouldn't recognize that though.
No, but you think that would be lost with time, and we actually got to see Barbarian and Haku in a triple. It was a 6-man tag match back in Catlettsburg, Kentucky. Year before last?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was last year.
Yeah,
It was last year that we saw them, and those guys haven't lost a step.
No.
They were just as well-oiled then as they were at WrestleMania VII.
Well, they were... There was a handful of tag teams at the time that in 91 and for maybe a decade prior, there was a handful of tag teams who, even though they were not They were not blood related. The Steiners I don't include in that because they are brothers. They knew every step the other would make, and because of that, they were ridiculously good.
Well,
but Haku and Barb, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson,
yes,
the Rock and Roll Express,
Bobby Eaton, Dennis
Condrey, the Midnight Express,
Bobby Eaton, Stan Lane, again, the Midnight Express.
And lest we forget, the Road Warriors.
And another name to throw in there, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard.
Yes, Arn and Tully were...
I believe you could have blindfolded those two.
Sometimes underrated. But you're absolutely right. There was dozens and dozens of great tag teams at the time, but very, very few had the understanding between partners that those teams we just mentioned had. They were like brothers on the road. They understood each other in the ring, out of the ring. We tend to often give credit to Ricky and Robert in that regard and sort of kind of forget some of the others that done it.
Right. And I go back to, I want to say 1992 Clash of Champions when you had Arn Anderson, Larry Zbyszko versus Dustin Rhodes and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yeah.
And Jim Ross is on commentary and he's talking about Arn Anderson, Larry Zbyszko working together so well. And he says, to be a great tag team wrestler, you first have to be a great singles wrestler.
Yes.
And that describes Arn Anderson, Larry Zbyszko at that time, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, lesser degree Hawk and Animal, but Bobby Eaton, Dennis Condrey, Bobby Eaton, Stan Lane,
notice
Barbarian Haku.
Notice the constant in that. It was Bobby Eaton.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you put Bobby Eaton with anybody and he make them look good.
Bobby Eaton could have a singles match with a broomstick or have just as good of a tag match with a broomstick.
Yeah. Probably better than most.
That's just Bobby Eaton.
But sticking with WrestleMania VII, we watched this match and it's pretty straightforward. I mean, you expect, going into a match like this, it's almost you expect, okay, Rockers, Barbarian and Haku. This is a heel match.
Yes.
It's a match made for a heel team.
Yes.
You expect Barbarian and Haku to come out, and really and honestly, it was pretty evenly matched throughout. They worked really well together, Barbarian and Haku.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty.
Right. And you didn't expect anything less from those two teams.
No, you didn't.
You honestly expected these two teams to put on a clinic.
Right.
And they very much did.
This is a fact.
There's a little back and forth between the teams. We see the power and strength, size of Haku and Barb take control multiple times. And then you see the resilience and the speed and agility of the Rockers retake or regain control.
Yeah.
Back and forth, back and forth. It was a
great match.
It was a fantastic match.
In the end,
did you catch the weasel chants from the crowd?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anytime Bobby Heenan is out there, you're going to have the weasel chants. Hacksaw Jim Duggan made very, very, multiple references to the crowd chanting for the weasel.
Yeah.
And Bobby Heenan reacting to the crowd. I mean, like a manager should, and being there for his team. And he really didn't get involved in the match per se, but at the end, it was the Rockers picking up the victory.
Yeah, I have a quick rundown of the last few minutes of
Go
the
ahead.
match. So Haku had at one point regained control of the match. A whip to the corner on Marty, and followed that with multiple backbreakers.
Yeah.
And these were not like quick succession.
No, these were deliberate.
These were deliberate drive down and stretching Marty down, raising back up and hitting him down on the knee again. It was multiple backbreakers just over and over. Haku understanding the psychology of the situation and really making it look like, really giving the crowd the chance to absorb what he was doing.
Right.
That he is delivering devastating damage to the back of Marty Jannetty. The crowd was popping for every single move at this point. Barbarian knocks Marty down with a clothesline. Then he slaps on a bear hug as Sean, standing on the ring, standing on the apron, cheering on his partner.
Right.
The Weasel chants are going on at this point. Jannetty uses a boot to block a corner charge and attempts a crossbody, which is then countered with a power slam by Barbarian. It was a perfect moment. It shows that Marty is so resilient, so hungry for this win. He's going to give it everything he's got. He goes for this crossbody, and Barb just catches him, and it showcases the power and strength of Barbarian.
Right.
Barb then goes up top, which is something that didn't happen very often. But again, this showcases that Barb is also desperate to get this win.
Yeah.
Barb goes up top. He comes down with a headbutt. Marty moves. We get the hot tag to Sean, who hits the back elbow on Haku. Then Barb attacks from behind. Sean is hit with a crossbody. Sean hits a crossbody to block him. Back to Haku. Sean gets a neck breaker for 2. Sean gets another 2. It's instant. He goes into the 2 count, kick out. He immediately rolls up again and tries again, another 2 count. All 4 guys are in the ring. You get double drop kicks on Barb.
Right.
Double clothesline on Barb. Marty goes up top, hits a missile drop kick on Haku, which was beautiful,
Yes,
by the way.
Indeed.
Sean goes up and hits a crossbody on Haku. That's enough for the pin. At 10 minutes, I've got 10:41.
I've got 10:33, but we'll call it at that. I mean, there's not much difference.
And I may have caught some of the entrance time there.
Yeah.
But the crowd popped enormously for Marty and Sean. Big win for them at the time. Winner by pinfall, the Rockers.
Yes. What? We'll rate it on 5 stars.
Yes. We will steal one from
Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dave, as much as I do not like him, but it is a reasonable system. So,
and we will use it to the best of our ability.
yeah.
I know this is going to sound low because the way we've talked about the match and we've give you all the high points.
Yes.
But starting the night off, it was a good match. It was a great match for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
It was worthy of WrestleMania.
It was a fantastic opening match.
Right. But at an opening match, I expected, dear God, scared the daylights out of me.
It'll be all right.
It'll be okay. I'm going to say 3 out of 5.
I'm right there with you. I think this was a 3, maybe a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Both teams understood, and mind you, we said this very same thing when we done this show, when we cut this the first time. I think the average, you would think, oh, the average match is probably a 3.
Right.
Not really. The average match is probably more of a 2, 2.5.
Right.
Not necessarily at WrestleMania, but in wrestling as a whole, the average match is probably a 2, 2.5.
Right. Or it should be, at least.
It should be.
Uncle
because
Dave likes to give everything a 4 or 5, but I think you got to scale it back a little bit. I think a 5-star match is something, to me, is beyond expectation.
Yes.
And just handing out a 5-star match is a little bit much.
Well, and not to mention that in a standard wrestling event, be it a Dynamite or a Raw or a SmackDown or Collision, even going back to WCW and it being Nitro,
3 was a good night.
A 3-star match should be considered, hey man, you went out there and you done great.
Yeah.
And you're only, let's say you have a night, let's say you have a WCW Nitro where you have 6 matches on the card.
Right.
The average match in that is going to be a 2, 2.5, because most of those matches are not going to have any forward momentum.
Right.
They're more or less filler.
Yeah, for the most part.
Now, there may be a storyline behind it that some people are very interested in. Some people may not be. There's usually 2 to 3 matches on the card that are top billing.
Right.
For instance, you may have on any given night, let's look at a Raw, for instance.
Right.
You may have Stone Cold Steve Austin versus a lesser member of Vince McMahon's entourage.
Right.
That's a top billing just because Stone Cold's there. But you don't expect that match to be all that great.
No, you don't.
It's probably going to be a squash. There's probably going to be some interference that really it's just going to be furthering the story.
Right.
You give it a 3.
And that's how you tell the story. Though.
Right. And you're also going to have a match between, and this is no offense to these two people, but you're going to have a match between a Savio Vega and a
D'Lo Brown
that is not really there's really no storyline to it. Maybe these two guys are both vying for position
going
in the
right.
European title hunt.
Yeah.
And you kind of expect, it's going to go one direction. They're going to put on a really good match.
Right.
But you're going to give it overall a 2, 2.5 because it's not that memorable. And I think that's the point in a higher star count is how memorable is that match.
Right. Looking at this, 3 out of 5 for me. You said 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'll just go. I'll go 3 3.25, just to
Okay. So next, Bobby Heenan, of course, joins Monsoon. Hacksaw Jim Duggan takes his leave. Heenan goes on to commentary. Next match is the Texas Tornado. Kerry Von Erich going one-on-one with the Canadian strongman Dino Bravo, being accompanied by the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Yes. And to your point in the previous recording of this,
one for Jimmy.
This is one for Jimmy.
You'll see what we're talking about here.
If you want to make a game of this, take a drink every time Jimmy Hart makes an appearance.
Yeah. WWF at the time had acquired Kerry Von Erich, and immediately out of the gate, they're referring to him as the Texas Tornado.
Yeah.
Very rarely do they call him by his name.
Yes, and I would say that is Vince McMahon not wanting to draw attention to where he came from.
Right, World Class Championship Wrestling, which was owned by his father, Fritz Von Erich. I don't know how good that was. However, going into this match, you have expectation.
We specifically, us Southerners, we had very big expectations for this because
it's Kerry Von Erich.
It's Kerry Von Erich. And we're also at this point in time, the early 90s, WWF was available to us on our regular television.
Yes, it was.
We were very familiar with Dino Bravo, and we were intimately familiar with Kerry Von Erich.
Right.
So we knew what both of these individuals were capable of, and this was looking to be an absolutely fantastic match.
Right. It lasted all of 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
That's what I got. 3:11. And I
not a lot going on in this match. I mean, it was.
I have a complete rundown of the match.
Go ahead.
And that's saying something, that I have a complete rundown of this match.
Right.
Because it was kind of that short.
Yeah.
Kerry makes his entrance, his debut at WrestleMania. And some people would consider him a mid-carder at that time, but he had a run with Ric Flair for the NWA title.
He actually won the NWA title off of Flair, albeit he held it for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So to consider him a mid-carder is bupkis.
Yeah.
Early on, they make their entrance. Bravo jumps him early, knocking Kerry out of the ring with a clothesline, sends him to the floor. Kerry fires back with punches and clotheslines of his own. Bravo avoids the claw hold. He just kind of gets away from it.
Yeah.
Bravo hit him with a boot to the face, followed by an atomic drop and a few elbows. Bravo comes back, hits a side slam that was at the time his finisher. Kerry kicks out. Bravo jumps off the middle rope. Kerry slaps on the claw that dazes Dino Bravo, and that sets him up for the finishing move, which was a spinning tornado punch. Kerry covers for the finish at 3 minutes 11 seconds. I mean, it was really that short, folks.
It was. I mean, they may have went outside one time during the match.
Yeah,
and
that was at the beginning when Bravo put him out of the ring and follows him out.
Understandably, Kerry working on 1 foot at this time.
Yes,
I mean, he's wearing a prosthetic foot.
Yeah, he's wearing a prosthetic foot, but most people didn't know that.
No, most people didn't know it. I didn't know it at the time.
No.
And you're watching this match and you're like, okay, this is going to be good. This is going to be great. Kerry's going to come out and he's going to showcase himself. He's going to look great. Dino's going to put him over, and we're going to have a great match. Then at the finish, he locks the claw hold on, and like you said, he dazes him.
Yeah.
He's
like
got it on him and puts him down and then releases it.
Yeah.
Dino doesn't, he doesn't do anything to get out of it. Kerry just lets it go. Bravo stands up. Von Erich does his little tornado punch. I would have reversed it. I'd have had him doing that claw hold as a finisher.
Yes.
The claw hold would have been his finisher. The tornado punch would have been what you used to set it up.
It should have been the setup.
Yeah.
Should have done the tornado punch, which drops Bravo, and then he locks that claw on. And by the way, Kerry Von Erich's hands,
they're massive.
Massive. He was a big guy anyway, but his hands were ginormous, even for his body size. You hit that tornado punch, that should be to weaken the skull.
Right.
And then you lock the claw on, and you can even have him stand up, and you lock it on from a fallen position because you've just hit him with this tornado punch.
Right.
You lock it on from a fallen position. You can even have Dino stand up and like he's
Fight
going to
it a
try to
little
fight
bit.
it and break it a little bit, and then Kerry forces him back down. Dino goes unconscious. The ref
Then
calls
you can
it.
call it.
There
yes.
you go.
What do you think about it?
3 minutes 11 seconds.
It's not a long time.
The talent between these two deserved more time.
It did.
It
really
deserved
did.
more time to let the story build.
You could have done a good feud out of those two. You could have really ran a great feud with Kerry Von Erich, Dino Bravo.
Furthermore, I understand you're trying to get Kerry over with this fan base. And this is a West Coast fan base that probably does not know, really understand who Kerry Von Erich is.
Right.
But I understand you're trying to get Kerry over with the crowd. You're trying to put him over, make him look good. And you do to a point.
Right.
But it could have been so much better.
Could have been. Should have been.
Kerry is supposed to be this monstrously powerful babyface.
Yes. Dino's supposed to have been this monstrously powerful heel.
Yes. And for my money, they could have given this match at least another 2 minutes.
Possibly 3.
Possibly 3. It didn't have to be that long. We will see later on that there are matches that could have been longer. There are matches that could have been far shorter.
There are matches that shouldn't have been on here. I mean,
there are matches that shouldn't have been on here.
We'll get to those later on.
But you could have given Kerry a little more time to impress this crowd.
Yes.
And you
could have
exactly
what he could have done.
You could have given the crowd a little more time to realize just exactly how powerful you have to be to withstand the force that is Dino Bravo.
Yes, you're billing somebody as a Canadian strongman, and you do nothing in this match to make him look strong.
Right. I give this match a 2.
I give it a 1. And reason being is I got nothing out of it. I really and honestly, I got nothing out of it.
In my opinion, this match was the equivalent of a Savio Vega, D'Lo Brown with no storyline.
We're just gonna have a match.
We're just gonna have a match.
Right.
It was filler.
Yeah.
And it should have been much more.
It should have. Next match up, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, taking on the Warlord with the Doctor of Style Slick. These guys...
This is a power match.
It is.
From the word go.
Very similar in style, these two. Both guys built.
Both guys had, if you're giving them that Bret Hart ranking, 1 out of 10 on look, both of these guys are 9-10.
Yes, absolutely, no doubt about it. They both had a great look about them. I think either one of them could have had a run at one point or another with the WWF Championship at the time.
I will say, though, for my money, Warlord was not that good in the ring.
Not in a singles manner.
He was good in tag matches.
He was great in tag matches.
Which actually just goes to show that quote from JR that you mentioned earlier is not set in stone.
No, it's not always applicable.
But it is probably 90% applicable.
Right.
But Warlord was never that good in the ring. Bulldog was actually a good worker.
No, he really was, and they acknowledge, Monsoon actually acknowledges that Warlord's full Nelson has never been broken.
Yes.
So these guys hooking it up like two bulls in the ring. There's a lot of muscling, a lot of power in it. But when Warlord actually locks the full Nelson on, Davey Boy's so big that he couldn't lock his fingers, and Monsoon actually spoke about that as well.
Yeah. He couldn't get his hands
Couldn't
together.
get his fingers together.
And
because them shoulders are just so wide.
I do want to point out that go back and look. Davey was bigger here than I think any WrestleMania prior, at any time prior.
And
I
maybe
think he was
bigger going forward.
And the truth of the matter is, neither one of these guys are passing a current WWE wellness exam.
Not at that point.
Neither one of them.
Not at that point.
They would not pass a wellness test, but Bulldog, you're right. He was so big. Even though Warlord was a little taller.
Yeah, he had a little bit of height on him.
Which means he was longer in the limbs. Bulldog was so broad in the shoulders,
yeah, he was massive,
the
chest and his
that
back.
it actually, Warlord, and they didn't give that enough time. I don't think
they gave it enough time. I think that two things should have happened. One, you should have seen Warlord trying to lock those fingers.
Right.
He should have been moving those hands every which way but Sunday.
They should have showed him catching a
Fingertips,
little bit of grip,
getting some fingers,
getting a little bit of this, something to show that he was actually strenuously struggling to get his grip in. Which, by the way, I've always thought most applications of the full Nelson go behind like this and they interlock the fingers.
Right.
In actuality, that's about the weakest grip you can get.
Yeah.
If you overlap your hands and lock this way,
yeah,
it's actually more forcefully, put together. Some people think this way, but this is actually because you're actually bending your fingers into your fingers, and the tighter you pull against them, the more you're pushing on your own tendons and causing the fingers to lock together.
Yeah.
So, and that's just
it's kind of like a Chinese finger trap.
That's actually a biological fact, by the way. It is. It's kind of like a Chinese finger trap. The harder you pull, the tighter it gets. So, look that up. Google it. It's biological fact. If you overlay your fingers like that and lock, this is a much better grip than this or this.
Right.
This or this, whichever way you prefer, is a much better grip.
And then what also got me, the other part of that, is when you're getting to the end of the full Nelson spot and Davey Boy's going to get out of it, he just drops his arms and breaks the hold. I mean, it's like, okay, I done it. There's no fighting, there's no struggle, there's no jostling. It's like, okay, I'm in, I'm out.
Yeah.
Now, match went for 8 minutes, 15 seconds is what I've got.
Yes, that's what I've got.
Of course, the British Bulldog, there at the end, getting the Warlord up on his shoulders for that big running power slam, plants him in the middle of the ring, and gets a 3 count.
Mm-hmm.
What do you give this match?
So, this match was actually better than I anticipated.
It was. I mean, like I said, these two guys, they work great together.
Yeah. And like I said at the beginning, Warlord was the dribbling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was.
In a singles match by himself.
It didn't
matter who you put him against. He was 9 times out of 10, he was the drizzling shits.
Right.
He wasn't as bad as
he was better
Giant
with
Gonzalez, El Gigante.
No.
But he was
the Weeping Willow, as Arn Anderson calls him.
He was bad. I mean, he was slow, he was stiff, he was uncoordinated.
But he had the look.
He had a fantastic look.
And he was powerful.
But Bulldog worked his tail off in that match, bringing the best out of Warlord.
Yes, indeed.
And I think Bulldog probably went into that match knowing he was going to have to.
He was going to have to
pull some weight, which might be the reason he was bigger there than he was at any point in his career.
Very well possible.
My ranking here for this match is maybe a 2.5, 2 3/4. It's getting close to a 3.
I'm at 2 on it.
Just because I understand the work that Bulldog put into that match,
right?
To
like I said,
to make it as good as it was.
You could have seen some things that like I said, with the full Nelson spot and a few other small things, but 2 out of 5 I'm going. So,
well, again though, look at this was 8 minutes 15 seconds. You could have given this match another 2 minutes.
Yeah,
you could have given that full Nelson that full Nelson spot. You could have given it another 30 seconds.
You could have at least dropped Bulldog to his knee.
Yeah,
with it.
You could
and then had him fight it back up.
Again, you could have seen Warlord catch
the
just his fingertips together, and he's really forcing his body weight forward. Bulldog slowly dropping to one knee. Bulldog arching his back and pulling his arms around to break those fingertips apart, and then slowly climbing back to his feet, slowly grunting and pulling his shoulders down to pull those arms apart, and then coming back with an elbow or coming back with a headbutt, something to show that he was breaking this hold. And that would have showcased Warlord's unbroken full Nelson.
Yeah.
It would have showcased Bulldog's unwavering strength and resilience.
Exactly.
30 more seconds. 30 seconds. You could have given that 30 more seconds, that one spot. You could have given them a couple more spots early in the match.
Right.
Where they just clash. And both men stand there, unstoppable force, immovable object sort of moment, to really showcase the power and brute strength that these two possess.
Yeah.
And the crowd would have bought it.
Yeah, they would have.
You could have given it another minute, maybe 2. I think it would have been a 3.5 if you'd have done that.
Yeah, indeed. Then the crowd pans, and Macaulay Culkin, of course, is in the audience.
Yeah.
It's Home Alone's happening around that time, and got Macaulay Culkin in the audience. So there's a good,
Yeah, it was a moment of
celebrity moment, so to speak. Next match up, the WWF Tag Team Champion match. The Hart Foundation defending against the Nasty Boys with Jimmy Hart. Take a drink, folks.
Yeah. By the way, the Hart Foundation here is Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Yes.
This is supposed to be the pinnacle of tag team wrestling at the time.
Right. The Hart Foundation defending tag team champions. This match really and honestly, 12 minutes, 10 seconds is what I've got.
Let's see. 12 minutes, 10 seconds, yeah.
What did you think about this match?
So, I was always a fan of the Nasty Boys.
Yeah.
I was never a heel fan, even though they were, for all intents and purposes, the heel here. And for a vast majority of their career, they were heels.
Yeah.
But I was always a fan of them, and it wasn't because, again, I was a babyface fan. But the Nasty Boys were the heels that you loved to watch because
they were nasty.
They were just nasty.
That was their thing. They were nasty.
They never tried to disguise the fact that they were the bad guy.
No.
They would come out and tell you that they're going to spit in your face and kick mud in your eye, and
you go home and tell your mama about it.
Yeah, go home and tell your mama about it. That's just the way that, and I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
The Nasty Boys were not always well, let's put it realistically, they were never the epitome of technical acumen.
No, they weren't. They were raw, unfiltered,
Yeah.
brute strength.
But they did showcase a great deal of understanding of wrestling.
That they did.
So
They worked well as a team.
Yes, they did. They definitely worked very well as a team. This one for me, I don't know. It was fun. It got plenty of time. They built to the finish very well.
Jimmy Hart had some good moments in the match. I mean,
Yes.
you always got Jimmy out there jumping around like a Mexican jumping bean, and I still want to see Jimmy do that. And I know he's in his 80s now, but if I could see him jumping around one more time, I'd love it. I may try to get him to do it next time I see him.
The Nasty Boys used every trick, every classic tag team trick, right?
Yeah.
They busted out
the
the false tags, the distractions. The whole match had a lot of comeback spots.
Right.
It was a well crafted, well put together match that I don't know. I feel like the one thing that let it down is this is the last time that Brett would tag
with
Jimmy.
Yeah. It was the end, and we just told you the finish of the match, but
But the truth is, I think Brett knew that Brett was going into his singles run at this point. I think he knew what was. I mean, obviously he knew the outcome of this match.
Right.
And I don't think Brett's heart was in it. He was already looking to the future, and didn't. Brett was not Brett 100% in this match.
No, and I don't
obviously he was 85-90%.
Yeah.
He was still very much a part of the match, and he done a fantastic job, as Brett always done. And I am no Bret Hart fan, but again, what do you think?
In the end of the match, you had the spot where Jimmy Hart threw the megaphone in, and like Knobs clock Sags with the megaphone on accident and knocked him out of the ring.
Yeah.
And then not 2 minutes later, Jimmy Hart takes the motorcycle helmet off and throws it in the ring. And that's what they used, the Nasty Boys, to knock out Jim the Anvil Neidhart and get the pin.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit much.
Yeah, so
maybe a little bit much.
Let's look at this. I can give I've got basically a play-by-play from that point. So Jimmy throws the megaphone to Knobs. Knobs goes after Brett with it. Brett ducks. Knobs hits Sags. The crowd is absolutely staggered at this point. The crowd's going wild. Brett tags in Jim. The Anvil comes in. House of Fire, classic hot tag, tossing Knobs into Sags at one point, hitting a double clothesline, gives Knobs a power slam. Sags breaks it up. Brett chases after him. Sags ran into the ring. Knobs ended up crashing into him. There was, it was sort of chaotic there for a moment. Brett knocked Jimmy down. The Hart Foundation hits the heart attack clothesline on Knobs. The ref told Brett to leave, get out of the ring. And while he did that, Sags uses Jimmy Hart's helmet to hit Jim Neidhart in the back of the head. Earl Hebner never sees it. As usual, Knobs gets covered.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Right.
So the last probably 2.5 or 3 minutes of that was actually, and I know I read it in 20 seconds, but it was probably 2.5, 3 minutes of action there. It was very chaotic. It was fast movement. It was all over the place.
Yes.
And it brought what had been a sort of
it brought a finale.
Yeah, it brought what had started out pretty high, fell into a cookie cutter routine, and then all of a sudden you have this finale.
Yeah.
This 2.5 minutes of fast pace around the ring, in the ring, out of the ring. It's all blowing up, and then bang. Because Brett is, and obviously this was the intent, right? Brett is in the ring, shouldn't be in the ring.
Right.
And Earl Hebner is saying, hey, if you want me to count this pin, you need to get out of the ring.
Right.
The rules are the rules, and they apply to you just like they apply to anyone else.
Right.
So he's
doing what he should
shooing
do.
Brett out of the ring, trying to get rid of him. Brett finally steps out of the ring, but it's done too late. Jim Neidhart takes the helmet to the back of the head, and there you go.
I would like to see more out of the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen a little more intensity. All in all, on a 5-star system, I'd give it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm right there again. 2, 2.5 maybe. Again, this was a match that could have been a 3.5 easily and it didn't need more time. This is one match that didn't need more time, but it had a 5.5, 6 minute period in the middle of the match that fell into cookie cutter territory.
Yeah. Okay match. It was good. Next match up, the blindfold match.
Yes.
Jake the Snake Roberts, Rick the Model Martel. They give us a good lead up to this. You get the little bit of the backstory of why this is a blindfold match.
There's prior to the match, prior to the entrances, you get a montage moment of what's led up to this.
Right.
Clips to set up the feud between Jake and Rick Martel, where Martel had sprayed his arrogance perfume in the eyes of Jake. Jake had trouble seeing. This leads to the blindfold match at 7.
You get both people giving a good, I don't want to call it an interview, but a good statement, so to speak.
Yes.
And you believe the intensity from Jake because he's lost his eyesight, and now I've not got my eyesight, and you're not going to have yours either. Let's put the blindfolds on and see how well you do.
Well,
it kind of amplifies Jake being a snake,
Right.
Jake the snake.
Jake doesn't have to see; he can
feel his
it.
way.
He can sense it. And you're right. That promo that Jake cut prior to this match is proof of what I've said before, and I will go to my grave believing that there is no one more no one in wrestling history has perfected the psychology of wrestling the way Jake Roberts did.
Well, no.
Because and just a few seconds ago, I pulled my hat up here because it was down and you couldn't see my eyes. Jake stands in that interview staring into the camera.
Yes.
His voice never wavers. It never changes.
He's not
tone.
screaming.
He never screams. He never shouts. He never gets frantic. He just stares. And the camera pans in on his eyes. And I would do that here.
Yeah. Basically, that's what you end up with.
It pulls in directly on his eyes.
Yeah.
And his eyes are just, there's no emotion there. It's just basically it's Jake letting you know, and it's you got to give the cameraman credit. You got to give whoever wrote that camera pan into
production
existence.
was great.
Production on that was fantastic. You got to give credit to those people as well. But Jake Roberts let you know going into this that he is
He's vested.
Oh yeah,
He's
vested.
He's definitely
yes.
vested.
He
in the moment.
has stake in this game, and he plans on getting his money's worth.
Right. Rick Martel has took everything he's had. He took his eyesight, but he hasn't took his heart. And Jake plays a perfect baby face in this match.
Yes.
It's like you said, he doesn't scream. He's not lashing out. He's not. He hasn't lost his cool. He's upset, but he's not, so upset that it's draining him of his thought processes.
Right.
And he's telling you basically exactly what he's going to do. And that's the perfect babyface promo. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to go out there and I'm going to back my words.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to set my expectations too high, but I'm going to tell you exactly what you can expect from me. And that is the perfect promo that you get. Now, once you get into the match, you see this. Both men are hooded with those black hoods.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much they could see under those hoods or if they could see at all. But it's awkward to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But immediately, Martel is doing everything he should do. He's reaching out. He's feeling. He's trapped, and he's lost his eyesight now. And now he's at the hands of Jake.
Yeah.
And Jake too, to a degree, he's reaching out and he's feeling. But the fans,
right,
they're with him. Rick Martel goes over here, and Jake's pointing over here, and he does this thing here. And it's kind of like hot and cold.
Right,
remember
hot
when,
and cold.
The Marco Polo a little bit,
right,
without the Marco and the Polo.
The fans are booing here because Martel's not there.
Yeah.
And Jake puts his hand over here, and the fans are chanting, screaming, cheering. And Jake is not relying on his eyes, and it's selling this point.
Yeah.
Jake is not relying on his eyes. He's relying on his other senses.
Yeah.
A snake relies on infrared
vision, on heat.
Yeah, heat receptors.
Smell,
which they taste and smell from their tongue. They flick their tongue out, and they're pulling in particles from the air and bringing it back into their olfactory, and they can see the area. They know what's around.
Yeah.
And Jake is using this, and it's not, Jake doesn't have infrared vision. Jake doesn't have bat sonar, but he has the fans.
Yes.
And he has the feeling that the fans are going to be behind him, and they're booing here, and they're cheering here. And Jake follows his instinct,
yes,
which is to follow the fans.
Right. And it's duck and miss.
Yes.
Duck and miss. Duck and miss for Jake.
Yes.
He comes up short on some moves. He doesn't make contact. And then finally Martel comes around, and there's Jake. And Jake gets his first.
Yeah.
And then Martel gets away, and he scurries off, and then Jake's back to the hunting pack, as I like to call it,
Well, when Martel trips and falls down.
Yeah.
And Jake
feels it.
Almost instinctually follows into that pin. Watching it now, I think that was an unplanned moment.
Yeah, I think it's kind of one of those things that Martel either he didn't mean to fall, or
right,
Jake didn't mean to pin him.
Right.
But
they have I watched something the other night, and Chris Jericho said, why call it a botch? It's not a botch. Is it a mistake? Did something go wrong? Did it not go right? Yes. But calling it a botch takes something away. It makes it feel like it's
not meant to happen at all.
Not meant to happen at all, and that's not the case, because even though it wasn't a planned spot, you have to take what was there, what's given, and make the best of
Right.
it. So it's more of an ad lib.
Yeah.
It's more of a little bit of a unplanned moment that you just make the best out of. So again, I don't think that was a planned spot.
Right.
But they made the best out of it.
They did. And ultimately, in the end, they back and forth it again. And then Jake's able to capitalize. And I believe you've got a rundown, don't you?
Yeah, I do. So starting after Martel trips and Jake gets a 2 count, Martel does an Irish whip into the ropes. Jake runs sort of off to the side, totally missing him. It was a funny moment.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a, okay, yeah, they can't see. That's funny.
Yeah.
Martel throws some random kicks. He's just kicking into the air, hoping to hit something.
Right. Because he doesn't have the senses the snake has.
Right. And Jake wasn't even close. So Jake is walking towards him while Martel is walking away. They end up finding each other. Rick Martel hits a body slam, throws an elbow, but Jake is already gone. Martel goes after the ref at this point. He's kind of going after the ref. Yeah. And then stops after realizing it's not Jake. After a lot of searching and feeling and whatever, Jake claps his hands. And Martel walks toward the sound. But Jake has circled. That's Jake setting up the trap.
Yeah.
Jake is setting the ambush. The snake is setting the ambush.
He's got the bait out.
Clap on. Martel is moving toward the clap. Jake is already circled, and he's coming around behind him. At this point, the crowd breaks out into a loud DDT chant. Martel finds the bag with Damien in it. Martel freaks out, goes backwards.
Yeah.
Jake meets him in a headlock, bounces into Martel's shoulder and fell to the floor. Martel grabs a chair and uses it to try to figure out where he is. He ended up using the chair on the steel post.
Yeah.
Jake drags him back in the ring where Martel was able to hit a backbreaker. Martel puts him in the Boston Crab. Jake powers out. Martel backed right into Jake. At this point, they've split.
Yeah.
And Martel gets kind of turned topsy-turvy. And Martel backs right into him. Jake turns him around, hits the DDT. I got 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah. Let me see here. 8 minutes 34.
Yeah.
So yeah. Great story. Great storytelling. Both guys doing a great job telling the story. Really and honestly, the biggest downfalls to it was I'd like to saw a little more out of Jake.
Yes.
Amplify those senses. Okay, he's blindfolded, but like I said, I don't know how much he can actually see out of that hood.
This match was, for all intents and purposes, a clinic in wrestling psychology.
Yes, it was. Both of them done a great job.
But to your point, 8 minutes and 30 seconds, they could have played 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes of this where Jake is listening to the crowd and
Cat and mouse.
He's cat and mouse. And then you can have, okay, yes, Jake is using the crowd to find out where Martel's at. But Martel's not a dummy. He knows that that's what the crowd's doing.
Right.
So he's waiting. And as soon as Jake puts a hand on him, he's prepared to counter.
Yeah.
And Martel's hitting moves, and then it's a move and then a separate, and they do it all over again.
Yeah.
It's a move and then they separate and they do it all over again.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I think they could have had Jake, like, his body changes,
Yes.
his demeanor changes, and he stops relying on the crowd, and that's when you feel that he is the snake.
Yeah.
You feel that he is tapping into other senses, not just his sense of trust in the crowd. He's tapping into senses of, like, almost like he's feeling the electrical field that surrounds Rick
Right.
Martel. And you get that only when he's doing the clap. That he's, okay, he knows where Rick Martel is. He's setting him up.
Yeah.
You get that just that one time. They could have played that for a minute and a half.
Yeah, they could have done more with that. Ultimately, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, it was good.
Again, it was not a technical clinic.
It wasn't.
It was not a wrestling, a foray into the physicality of wrestling, but it was an absolute master class in psychology.
It was. Then after that match, you have Marla Maples interviewing the newly crowned WWF Tag Team Champions, the Nasty Boys, with Jimmy Hart backstage in the locker room. Also present during that match were Earthquake, Dino Bravo, and the Mountie.
Mm-hmm. All of which were part of
Jimmy
the
Hart's
Hart Foundation, or the
family.
Jimmy Hart's family.
Yeah, Jimmy Hart's family. Awkwardly, the Hart Foundation used to be managed by Jimmy Hart prior to going in, and there was no talk of that during that match, but, I digress that one. Next match out, it's kind of history in the making, and we just didn't know it at the time.
Yes.
The Undertaker with Paul Bearer going one-on-one with Superfly Jimmy Snuka.
This was the one
in the streak.
This was number 1 in what would become 21-0.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman can talk about being the one in 21-1, but this was number 1 in 21-0.
Yeah. And ultimately, Undertaker's debut, setting up what would ultimately be the beginning. Of course, like I said, we didn't know that at the time. This match, I've got it at 4 minutes, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I've got 4:18, so yeah.
It was everything I expected out of it.
Yeah.
Jimmy Snuka trying to get some early offense in the match. Undertaker just using his sure power. Paul Bearer outside the ring with the urn doing the yes, Undertaker. Yeah, that one. But it ultimately, first thing out of the gate that I notice about this match, Snuka's wearing boots.
Yeah.
Which was kind of awkward to me because
Snuka never wore any foot covering.
Yeah. Had them little foot bands, I like to call them, but that was about it. But he's wearing actual wrestling boots at this time, or a sort of a wrestling boot. I don't know if it was a leather foot covering or what. I couldn't really tell. But like I said, little offense out of Snuka. Undertaker pretty well done everything he wanted to do to Snuka.
In the first 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
Undertaker is throwing some big punches, the punches that we would eventually know as the Undertaker's punches.
Yeah.
He's throwing these short but accurate and devastating jabs.
Yeah.
And he comes back with that jumping clothesline that he would make so famous.
Yes.
That Kane would eventually make into a signature for himself, but from the top rope.
Right.
That diving clothesline, and the crowd immediately, like, it was not a cheer, it was not a boo, and it technically should have been a boo.
Yeah.
Because Undertaker is this scary heel. Snuka is the babyface.
Yeah. Fighting the good fight.
Fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
And Snuka's old, and everybody knows that he's nearing the end of his career, but, you know.
He ain't as good as he once was, but he's as good once as he ever was.
May Toby Keith rest in peace.
Yes.
But Undertaker hits this diving clothesline, this bang, and it's instantly, there's this, like, you suck the air out of the crowd. They went, because they had never seen someone like that. Never seen someone that big do something.
6'9", 6'10".
Yeah, 6'9", 6'10", over 300 pounds at the time. They had never seen someone that size do something that athletic.
Yeah.
Yes, at that point, some of the people there had seen Vader. They had seen Bam Bam Bigelow. But they'd never seen, like, you kind of understand even a big guy can do a moonsault. He shouldn't, but he can do a moonsault off the top. But that giant leap, that big leaping clothesline there.
Off the mat.
Off the mat. And he gets over top rope high. And the crowd just sucks wind.
Yeah.
It's oh my goodness, did you, I mean, people are looking at the, you know, did you see that?
Yes, they are.
And we do that now today when someone does a 540. We're going, did you see that?
Yeah.
But at that point in time, to see a 300+ pound, near 7-footer come 5.5 feet off the ground with a clothesline was like, oh my gosh.
And yeah, I mean, it plays to the athleticism of the Undertaker.
Without a doubt.
Of course, Mark Calloway played some college basketball in his life.
Yeah.
He wasn't no slouch. But
he also got his money taken by Buzz Sawyer, so he had something to prove.
Yeah, that's a fact. There at the end, though, he gets Snuka with that tombstone pile driver and plants him 1, 2, 3, gets the win. Like I said, it's the start of the streak. It was everything I expected out of The Undertaker.
Yeah. Did you expect more from Snuka?
I might have expected a little more offense, but not much.
Because at the time that it happened, I probably did expect more from Snuka. As a 7-year-old kid.
Yeah, as a 9-year-old kid, I'm sitting there thinking, why ain't Jimmy fighting him?
Right. Why is Jimmy not fighting back? And that made me, as a 7-year-old kid, think, oh my goodness, the Undertaker really is that tough.
Yeah.
But looking at it now as an adult, as someone who's been around the business as long as I have, I'm looking at it and I'm going, no, I really didn't expect anything more from Jimmy.
No.
That's kind of where that should have went. I know this was a short match, and to be honest, these two could have put on a 15-minute clinic.
Yeah.
They were both that good.
Indeed.
But this match didn't really need anything else.
No, it didn't. It really didn't need anything else. Like I said, a little more offense from Jimmy would have been nice. Undertaker, pretty good for his WrestleMania debut.
Yeah.
Ultimately, on a 5-star scale, considering it was a 4-minute and 20-second pretty much squash match,
Yeah.
I give it a 3 out of 5.
I'm the same. I'm giving this a 3 out of 5. It was a squash win. Undertaker never left his feet unless he wanted to leave his feet.
Right.
And that goes to show that was, I mean, that's the the epitome of a squash match, right?
Yeah.
That's the definition of a squash match.
Yeah.
He dominated Snuka from beginning to end. It was not a technical clinic. It was not a psychological clinic in the sense that Jake and Martel was.
Right.
It was a psychological clinic in the form of showcasing the Undertaker as this incredibly dominant force.
Yes, that it was. So I give it a 3 out of 5.
Same here.
Give it a 3 out of 5. Then we move on. We get the...
Well, before we move on,
Okay.
this is the point where we took a break last time.
All right.
Do you think we should go ahead and take a break?
I think we ought to. What do you
should.
think?
I think we should.
And we will be back with the next half of WrestleMania VII on Cussin Discussin right after this. All right, everybody. We are back with the second half of this review of WrestleMania VII. So far, been a decent card.
It has been. This is a long card. 14 matches is a lot.
And to realize they actually crammed this into almost 4 hours.
Yeah, this was actually the last 4-hour WrestleMania for many years. They changed it to a 3-hour event for a long time after this.
Yeah.
And then they went back to 4 hours and then 2 days.
Yeah.
So,
you get the match, the card length now, but it's spanned over a 2-day period.
Right. Well, actually, you're getting 3 to 4 hours twice.
Yeah.
So it's, this is WrestleMania has become a complete weekend affair.
Yeah.
This year, last year, the same.
Throw
You've
in
been
the
at
Hall
my
of
house.
Fame with it.
Right.
I mean,
and yeah, if you consider the Hall of Fame into that, you're looking at 3 days. You were here this year.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Saturday, and Sunday.
We watched it all from start to finish.
Yeah.
And this time, we're doing it. Pretty much we're recapping this, and it's pretty impressive what they're able to do during this time frame.
Yes, it is.
Starting back, we get a video package.
Yeah.
Basically showing the lead up to this moment,
Mm-hmm.
the career versus career.
Yeah.
Macho King Randy Savage versus the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah. I have again.
Go ahead.
I done a complete rundown pretty much of everything, and I know you did too. For the most part, you hit.
I hit the high notes.
Right.
I mean,
and I tried to do a Cliff's Notes of every match and every segment, just so I would have the information in front of me if we
got a
wanted to
play-by-play account, pretty much.
So they did show the events leading up to the Ultimate Warrior Randy Savage match. Starting back at Royal Rumble, Savage wanted a title match from the world champion, then world champion Ultimate Warrior at the Royal Rumble, and he didn't get it. When Warrior defended the title against Sergeant Slaughter at the Rumble, Savage made his way to the ring and cracked Warrior in the head with the scepter. Mind you, this was Macho King.
Yeah.
This was King of the Ring, Randy Savage. And he comes to the ring, hits Warrior with the scepter. Slaughter then beats Warrior for the title thanks to the interference. Gorilla and Heenan point out here, Gorilla specifically points out that this is the first ever career versus career match. And then Bobby tends to point out that Elizabeth is sitting in the crowd watching the match.
Right, that being Miss Elizabeth, the former manager of the now Macho King Randy Savage.
Mind you, Savage was still the heel here.
He was.
And he had been managed by Queen Sherry for some time.
Right, about a year and a half, maybe a year and a half.
And because he is the Macho King here, this is a very grandiose entrance.
It is.
For Macho Man.
Riding on this throne being carried by men.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a impressive entrance to say the least.
Yes.
I mean,
And to contrast that, Warrior usually has this very, very fast paced, running to the ring, sort of hype up entrance.
yeah,
He doesn't do that here.
we don't get that. And immediately Bobby Heenan points out
Yes.
Warrior is walking to the ring. And he is. He is walking to the ring. If you go back and you actually watch this match, it's almost like he's calculated. He's focused. He's not just blasting out of the gate like a Kentucky Derby thoroughbred. Yeah. He is, he's putting some time into it. You almost get, I don't want to say a sense of dread, but like, this could be it. This could be the final time that I make this entrance.
Yeah. It makes you.
It builds up your
right.
Anticipation for the match.
It builds anticipation for the match. It immediately gets you in your mind. It's again, this is psychology. This is the psychology of wrestling as we talk about it.
Somebody will never.
Is Warrior worried about losing this match because he doesn't want to quit, or is he that focused? You don't know.
No, you don't. And he doesn't let on. I mean, the whole time he's just, walking to the ring.
Yeah. And I do, again, said this last time, I'll say it again. Well, no, I'll save it for the end.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a match that no one was going to leave their seat for a bag of popcorn.
No, you weren't.
This is two individuals who, even though Macho Man is a heel at this point, this is two individuals that if their name is on the card,
you're
there to watch that match.
Yes, you're there to see that match. And it was billed maybe not as the main event of WrestleMania VII, but it could have very easily main event WrestleMania VII.
Absolutely.
But, and looking at my notes, in the earliest moments of the match, you see Savage trying to go at Warrior before the match actually starts, and the referee's holding him off and backing him off, and then all of a sudden the bell rings, and they go toe to toe.
Yeah.
And they're back and forth, and they're giving it their all. It's power versus speed. Savage with the speed, Warrior with the power. Of course, Savage is a strong individual, but he's not the big man in this match. Warrior has a size advantage,
yes,
and Savage is having to use his speed to match that size advantage, that power, that strength. And all the while, Sherry is sticking her nose into this, and she's getting involved and actually gets in the ring on a couple occasions, and
more than a couple. Yeah. But yeah, this is the Flash versus Killer Croc, or Flash versus the Shark.
Right.
I can't remember but this is, it's a powerhouse versus a wrestler with strength, but is definitely outmatched here.
Yes.
And has to rely on his other assets. And I brought this point up at the last one, at the last taping of this, and I'll bring it up here again. Randy Savage showcases a lot of facets to the game.
He does.
For your viewing, who do you think epitomizes, who do you think is most like Randy Savage in today's wrestling?
Today's wrestling, Nick Nemeth.
Yeah. So I'm obviously, I kind of knew you were going there. We talked about this before, and we're repeating ourselves,
Yeah.
but they didn't get to see it. So
No, they didn't.
and I agreed with you then as now. I think Nick Nemeth is a very good representation of that.
Yeah.
For me, the one that covers that base that is the most like Randy Savage today is Seth Rollins. They're actually of a similar build.
He doesn't have, much like Savage, he doesn't have the mass.
Right. He does have the strength. He showcases that strength on occasion,
Right.
just like Savage did. But also, Seth is calculated, methodical. He uses his weight from height.
Yeah. Uses his wit and his agility
Right.
versus his power and strength. Kind of offsets it a little
Right.
bit.
Even though he is strong, when you put him against today's versions of the Ultimate Warriors, the Hulk Hogans, you put him against Seth Rollins, against Roman Reigns, against Brock Lesnar, John Cena, you see him rely more on his wit and his speed and athleticism.
Right.
Randy done the same thing.
He did. I mean,
He would use his strength when he knew his strength was enough.
Nope.
But he relied on other aspects of his physical gifts when he needed it, and he knew the moments when he needed it. He never, Randy Savage never, I can't think of a time when I can say Randy Savage actually underestimated his opponent, because he always knew, okay, my strength isn't going to work here, I'm going to have to rely on speed, or my speed isn't going to work here, I'm going to have to rely on strength.
right.
You go back to WrestleMania 3
Yeah.
with Ricky Steamboat, you see Savage relying more on his strength there.
Yes.
He was a little bit bigger, and Steamboat was obviously the faster
Right.
and technically gifted. Steamboat's one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time.
Yes.
So Savage, Savage was, he still used those other aspects of his game. He relied on, in that match, he relied on his strength a little more than his speed, but he was always relying on his intellect.
Yeah.
Always.
He did.
Because Savage, much like his brother,
Yeah.
was very intelligent.
They both were, yes, indeed. And mentored by their father, Angelo Poffo.
Absolutely. Who was also, Angelo doesn't get the credit, I think, sometimes that he deserves
Angelo's
for his technical ability.
He's overshadowed by the whole ICW gimmick.
Yes, yes.
He started his own organization and went outlaw to the NWA.
Right.
It really, it doesn't give the credit that Angelo Poffo would deserve. But in this match, you had some great back and forth action between Warrior and Savage. They were matching each other. They were giving each other everything they had, and I said it the last time, I'll say it again. It was almost like Warrior was wrestling a handicap match, because you had so much of Sherry in the match, and she was getting herself involved and trying to save the Macho King and make sure that he won and continued his career.
Well, but that plays into that psychological element too, is we know that Sherry's trying to ensure Macho wins, not for his own sake, but for her sake.
Right.
So
and notice the camera at the time. It's always, it's catching the action.
Yeah.
But it's panning over to show you Elizabeth, who
Yeah.
is not sitting necessarily at ringside. She's more on the aisle, but it's catching, seeing
Yeah.
what she's seeing.
She's on the aisle, what you say, 10, maybe 15 rows back?
Well, from the ring, yes.
Yes, from
maybe
the ring.
not from the aisle, but
Right.
she's about 3 from the aisle, I
Right.
think. But just enough out of sight, out of mind, so
Right.
to speak. And, as that progresses, you will see why. But, and you've got, like you said, you've got the rundown. And going from there toward the end, when they're going back and forth, and then Savage finally capitalizes, and he starts going up, and he gets on the top rope, and he hits one elbow drop, and he knows that's not enough. Let me go back. I've got to do this again, and he ascends that top rope again, and another, and he doesn't go for a pin. He goes back to the top rope for a third, and then a fourth.
And by the way, never did Savage had the cleanest elbow drop.
Yeah.
And the likes of Shawn Michaels and CM Punk have attempted to copy that to great effect.
Well, yes,
But
and many ways paying homage to Savage.
yes, it is. They're both paying homage to Savage. But when Savage he come off almost with his arm flat, and then at the last second, he folded that elbow up. It was a sort of thing,
Yeah.
and it was perfect. It was Bruce Lee taught that you don't throw a fist. You throw an open hand and you snap it closed at the end.
Well, notice when Savage threw the elbow, it wasn't out like this so
Right.
much. It was in
here,
and driven.
He
Tuck it in and just drive it in, and that's what you got. And it looked so good on camera.
Yeah, it looked
when
fantastic.
he drive that elbow, because you could swear that elbow's busting his heart off.
Yeah, you know it's cracking sternum.
Yeah.
But Savage was so safe.
Yeah.
Savage was so safe with that elbow. But again, it was, and I'm doing it here just for the camera's sake, but
Yeah.
he snapped it closed at the end, and it was more up here, so
Yeah.
that it looked like it was driving in.
Because his
and
legs
actually,
were more extended out.
right. Actually, Shawn's was a little more out here.
Yeah.
CM Punk does do it more here.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is this is, you just mentioned the 4th consecutive elbow.
Yeah. And that's not enough.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
As perfect as every elbow that he threw was in every match he ever had.
Well, he threw 5 eventually.
Yes.
But
this 4th one was so perfect.
it was just as good as the first one.
Yeah, if not better.
Yeah.
And that goes to show something, that Savage was not even this late in the match, and we're talking halfway in.
Okay, it's a 20-minute, 47-second match.
Yeah. What do I
as far
have
as I've
here?
got here.
20:48 is what I've got.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But we're talking, this is 10, maybe 12 minutes into the match, and this elbow drop combination, and the 4th one is better than any of them.
Yeah.
Not only is it just as good as the first, and you're talking about he's having to climb the rope, jump off, hit, land, which landing on that mat is not easy.
No, it's not. And think about this.
Get up, climb up, do it again. Get up, climb up, do it again. And the 4th one is more, it's better than any of them. And that goes to show the stamina that Randy Savage had.
To just jump back up, mount the ropes, and do it one more time. Now, you and I both are well over 300 pounds at this point in our lives.
We are.
We know what it's like to climb a ladder
Yes.
at this weight.
Yep.
It takes so much out of you.
Yep.
And climbing those ropes is the same thing, but he never shows any fatigue in doing this. Now, and he comes off for the 5th one, and he finally goes for the pin, and the Warrior kicks out.
Everybody knew that 5 elbows was enough.
Yeah.
everyone in that crowd knew
Three
that
should have been enough.
Randy Savage was winning that match right there.
He was taking it home.
He was
over.
winning. This is it. Very few people have gotten up after one elbow drop at this point in his career. No one is getting up after 5.
Yeah.
And yet,
Warrior kicks out.
Warrior does.
He gets out of it. And then Warrior fights back, and you see the Warrior doing what he's got to do, and you know, he's trying to get the upper hand on the Macho Man, and they're going back and forth again, and you know, there is a moment in the match when Warrior's actually giving the Macho Man everything he's had, and he's going to go for the finishes, and Macho Man kicks out, and kicks out. Kicks out.
So we actually see right after those elbows and Warrior is coming back, Warrior kind of falls to the ropes, eventually gains his energy back. He decks Savage with some punches, comes back with 3 straight clotheslines, which is a Warrior staple. It's a trademark.
Yeah.
3 of these big clotheslines, sets him up and picks him up for the Gorilla Press Slam, runs the ropes and hits the big splash to the back. That's the finish. And everyone in the crowd at this point is thinking, Savage just gave him 5 elbow drops and didn't keep him down. Warrior just hit his finish. This is it.
Yeah, Warrior's walking away.
Warrior's walking away with this, and Savage kicks out. But before he kicks out, the camera pans back to Elizabeth, and there's this shock and worry and just distraught look on her face.
And I don't think it's so much she's worried about if Warrior's going to win.
She's worried about Macho's
career,
health, and career at this point.
Is he going to have a career after this? And Bobby Heenan is talking about Elizabeth being there.
Yeah. Got to give credit to Bobby.
He is so good on commentary. Bobby Heenan, he's a great manager, but his commentary is so great. Him and Gorilla Monsoon together are a phenomenal team, and it's likely that it will never be repeated. I don't care how hard we try. Let's just be realistic.
Right.
I mean,
but I've said it on this show many times. Gorilla's the straight man. Talking about what's going on in the ring. Heenan is a 12-year-old with a cigarette lighter trying to set the couch on fire behind him.
Yeah.
And in this match, at this moment, Heenan is not trying to set the couch on fire.
He's dousing gasoline.
All he's doing is he's pointing to the fire in the audience, which is Elizabeth. He didn't set that fire, but he sees it, and it's eating him up.
Yeah.
That nobody else is looking at this fire.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the ring, Warrior he's panicked at this point, to a degree. He's stumbling around. He's trying to catch his breath, so to speak. He's looking for answers, and he's looking at the sky.
Yeah,
and
he's looking up to the gods.
Doing this number, and you know. He's trying to rally himself, and
Warrior was touched.
He was. Everybody says Warrior wasn't a great worker, and that may very well be. But I think if anybody could bring out the best of the Warrior, of the Ultimate Warrior, Jim Hellwig, it was Randy Savage.
Oh, without a doubt.
And Warrior goes to get out of the ring, and the referee's counting, and he's standing on the apron, and the referee's telling him, "You got to get back in the ring. I'll count you out, and your career's over."
Mm-hmm.
And you expect him to it's almost like he's going to walk away from this. He's just going to give up. And then at the last second, Savage jumps and knocks him.
Yeah.
And the referee immediately, the count's broken because Savage is now outside the ring, and they give each other a little bit outside the ring. Savage rolls Warrior back in.
Sherry holds Warrior's throat on the barricade there for a few minutes or a few seconds. Warrior ends up shoving her away, and Savage jumped and he missed. And Savage at this point, he crashes throat first on the barricade.
Right.
No one in history has done that. False, that missed attack better than Savage.
No, and I don't think actually anybody's ever been able to replicate it.
Savage made you think when he landed and he hit on that barricade, and he'd done it in multiple matches. This was not something unseen in a Savage match.
No.
When he jumped and missed that double axe handle, and he landed throat first on the barricade, you thought he just collapsed his trachea.
Yes.
I mean, his hyoid bone should have been fractured. He should be choking to death.
Yeah.
But again, that goes to just the sheer talent of Randy Savage.
He could lead you to believe he was in trouble.
Yeah.
And then they get back in the ring, and it's a little more back and forth.
Well, they get back in the ring, and Gorilla makes Gorilla botches a very, very randomly seen botch by Gorilla Monsoon, in that Warrior does a flying shoulder tackle reminiscent of a John Cena flying shoulder tackle. And
so that's where Cena got it from.
It's a good possibility. It really is.
Yeah.
Because they were very similar. Cena had a little more up and lean in, whereas Warrior
was more fly.
Fly. He laid out flat with it.
Yeah.
But Warrior hits this flying shoulder tackle, and Monsoon calls it a clothesline.
Yeah.
The arm was tucked. It was not outstretched. So that's just look. It's not a moment that anybody else is going to care about.
No, it's just one of those.
It's just one of those moments that I see it and I go, "Oh,
Monsoon.
Gorilla made a mistake."
Well, I also noticed a mistake he made in the match in referring to the Ultimate Warrior as the Warlord.
Yes. Yeah.
Seen him earlier, but needless to say.
Well, I mean, that's one of those.
It's a 20-minute long match.
Right.
It's a high-intensity match.
And it's halfway through a 4-hour show.
Yeah.
So.
And they didn't take breaks like we do.
No, they didn't.
No. There was no intermission in this thing. It was straight shot through. But no, they're back and forth again. And take us through the final moments.
So, after that moment, the shoulder block that Gorilla called a clothesline, Savage had rolled out of the ring. Warrior goes out, puts him back in the ring, hits him with another flying shoulder block that again sends Savage to the floor. Warrior comes out, puts him back in the ring, hits him with another flying shoulder block, pulls Savage to the center of the ring, puts his foot in the chest. 1, 2, 3.
And it's over.
It's over.
Let's stop it right there.
Yeah.
Because I want to do this in 2 parts.
Right.
Because it deserves it.
It does.
It was the match, for what it was worth, was great storytelling. It was great psychology, really, from both men.
Yes.
From the start, Warrior's slow walk entrance to the ring, the back and forth, the drive from Savage to try to be everything that he needed to be to win, to drop the 5 elbow smashes and come up short, and Warrior comes up short, and they're back and forth, and they're back and forth, and then all of a sudden Warrior hits shoulder tackles and pulls Savage to the center of the ring and puts his foot on him. 1, 2, 3. To me, it left something there.
It did. It left you
thinking he done all that to beat him with shoulder tackles.
and a foot in the chest.
You know, he come up short on the Warrior splash, but able to beat him with shoulder tackles.
Yeah. So I have to lead to go any further in rating this match.
Yeah.
I have to go to the rating itself. Up to that point, I was on the verge of giving this match 5 stars.
I think we both were.
And
up to
the last probably minute.
Yeah.
I was on the verge of giving this match 5 stars. If the finish had been more purposeful, climactic, more definitive,
deliberate, yes,
this would have been a 5-star match.
Right.
This would have been Randy Savage's second 5-star match in WrestleMania history.
In 7 WrestleManias.
But because the finish was so lackadaisical, that Warrior had already hit his finish, and Savage kicks out.
Yeah.
And that was a purposeful, definitive pin that Warrior went for after the backsplash.
Right.
And Savage kicks out. Now you're going to tell me that after just 3 shoulder tackles, Warrior can pin him with just a foot
on his chest.
That completely knocks it down.
It just
from what would have been a 5
eye.
to now 3.5.
I'm going 3. I mean,
so
simply because it could have ended so much better.
It could have.
You could have still put the Warrior over.
Oh, absolutely. And I do believe that there was no way to end. Look, we both believe that Savage should have went ahead and continued his wrestling career.
Yeah.
He was not done by any means. He continued. This is 91. He continued to wrestle for another 15 years.
This was Vince McMahon's way of getting him out of the ring into commentary.
Right. That's what it was.
Now, we've rated the match at 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
The match is
3.5, whatever.
The match is ended.
Yes.
Sherry enters the ring frantic, upset. Her meal ticket is now gone.
Right.
Everything that is her world is now crashed. And she's going to take it out on Savage with kicks and slaps.
She proceeds to just
verbally assault
and physically brutalize Randy Savage,
who really isn't fighting back at this point.
He's not, and maybe is it because he doesn't want to fight back?
Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll go back and watch it again, but he actually looks up and sees her, which totally throws off the next part of this, but
right.
Neither here nor there. And as she's slapping away at him and kicking him and throwing everything she's got at him, you see Elizabeth, and she's become visibly upset, and she takes her shoes off and jumps over the ring, over the barricade, and starts running down the aisle and hits the ring and grabs a double handful of Sherry.
Yeah.
And shakes her off and rolls her out and basically just throws her out of the ring.
Yeah.
Which is more physicality in that brief period than we ever saw out of Elizabeth. And
Yeah, Elizabeth runs down, grabs Sherry by the hair, and just throws her out of the ring.
yeah,
At this point, Randy is almost. He's not really in a fetal position, but
he's laying there.
Emotionally, he is in a fetal position.
Yeah.
He's emotionally curled up in a ball, just allowing Sherry to take out her frustrations.
Right.
Because he's frustrated. He knows his career has ended. He knows that this is it.
Yeah.
I just lost, and my career is over. And not only is my career over, but I've caused Sherry's career to be over. And he's just taking his comeuppance.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, he kind of rolls.
Yeah, Elizabeth is reaching to help him.
Yeah. And he's swatting her off like a fly.
You know.
Because he
thinks it's Sherry.
Yeah. And Sherry's still outside the ring. Referee's trying to push her back. And finally, Savage staggers around, gets up on his feet, and then turns around, and there's Elizabeth.
The whole time, Bobby Heenan is screaming. He's yelling into his microphone that everybody in the building is standing. Everybody's standing.
Yeah.
And
people are watching with
camera pans, and you can see 90% of the building is standing. They're craning their necks to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Elizabeth,
is he going to accept her?
Exactly.
You know, what is his reaction going to be to her? And when he opens his eyes and he actually sees her, and he asks her, "Was it you doing this?" And the referee's telling him outside, "No, it was this one. It was Sherry."
And Elizabeth is standing there crying.
And by this point, 75% of that audience is in tears.
Yeah. And Bobby Heenan is screaming, "He loves it," or "She loves him. I think he loves her.
And
this is sickening."
Yeah. And Heenan is doing everything he can to downplay this.
Yeah. As he should,
yes,
in his role.
As a heel commentator, he needs to. And then they embrace, and the whole crowd goes to tears.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, I teared up a little bit. It got me.
And I'm gonna say
it's a notebook moment of professional wrestling.
Yes, it is. It is the notebook for professional wrestling fans.
Yes. It's what you wanted to see.
The beloved babyface Randy Savage coming back into the arms of, or taking his beloved Miss Elizabeth back into his arms. And we've been waiting on it for a year and a half at this point.
Yeah. Will we ever see her again?
And finally you see it happen. They're in tears. They're crying. The crowd is in tears. They're all standing and craning their necks and cheering. Bobby Heenan is just disgusted.
Gorilla, on the other hand,
Gorilla's almost in tears.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you who was probably the most happy about this moment. The cameras are panning around and looking at the fans who are all standing and cheering and crying. 16,000, right? 16,000 people are standing and cheering and crying. I'll tell you who was probably the most happy of every single person in that building.
Who's that?
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Because he just sold the love story of a lifetime.
He sold the love story to end all love story. For my money, there's only one love story any better than Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth, and that is The Princess Bride.
I don't know.
The movie of The Princess Bride. And
Johnny and June, Waylon and Jesse.
Well, I mean, Yeah, but I'm not talking real life love story here. I'm talking about fictional love story. Not that Randy and Elizabeth was a fictional love story.
No, it wasn't. They were actually
it's a
legally,
real love story. But
at this point, they were actually more closer to their divorce and separation.
They're both divorced than they were their actual marriage.
Yeah, they had been married for about 2 years at that point.
But the truth is that the kayfabe story, the love story that was told here is a fictional story for all intents and purposes.
Do you realize this? They had been married for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Kayfabe was a thing.
Yeah.
Do you realize how hush-hush they had to be?
Oh, yeah. They couldn't go out in public
together. No.
And yet they were living together as husband and wife.
Yeah.
You know, so
they'd done very well for themselves. But yeah, this really was the beginning of the Savage and Elizabeth reunion.
Notice there, though, as they exit the ring, Elizabeth always held the ropes open for Randy.
Yeah, it was the thing.
It was she was the valet. She was supposed to hold the ropes open for him. She started to do it, and Randy says, no.
I'm doing it.
He sets in
and grabs the rope,
pulls the ropes for her, and lets her out.
Yeah. And back to the crowd, crying their eyes out, sobbing like a bunch of, And notice, up to this point, up to the end of that match, Monsoon is referring to Savage as the Macho King.
Mm-hmm.
Once the match ends, he immediately goes back to calling him Macho Man Randy Savage.
Mm-hmm.
It transitions Randy from that heel back to the baby face.
Yes.
And it's perfect face turn.
This was, Macho Man had been one of the biggest jackasses in all of wrestling for about 2 years at this point. And all it took was acceptance of the fact that he loved Elizabeth. Completely turned the crowd, completely turned the announce table, completely turned the commentary, completely turned backstage. Everything flipped at the snap of a finger.
Up to that bell, somebody could have come in there with a high-powered rifle and shot that man, and nobody would have saw.
Nobody would have booed. They'd have cheered.
You wouldn't have had a credible eyewitness in that 16,100 and some people. You wouldn't have had a credible eyewitness.
That's it.
But after the bell, after the attack from Sherry, after the reconciliation, there wasn't nobody in that building against Randy Savage other than Sherry.
Yep.
But no, great match. Now,
hold on just a second. I'm going to step away for just a minute, folks. The doc will fill you in right now for a second.
So far, so good. Great match going into WrestleMania VII. We're right at the halfway point, so to speak. I think this was like the 6th match in. And easily, this could have been the main event.
Yes.
Glad to have you back with us. Now, what I was getting ready to ask.
Sorry, I had to let the dog out, folks.
Well, he has to go sometime too.
Yeah.
He needed an intermission.
He definitely needed a break.
Now, we rated the match at a 3.5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
This segment, so to speak,
the post-match segment.
The post-match segment, as a standalone, what do you rate it?
It's 5.
It's definitely a 5.
It's a 5.
I give it a 5 out of 5. It's perfect storytelling with everybody involved. The commentary was on point. Sherry done her job. The referee was there to stop it.
Yep.
Elizabeth made the save. You had the reconciliation. You had the successful face turn for Savage. And it was perfect.
The post-match segment is a 5. The match itself, I gave a 3.5. You gave it a 3.
Yeah. Overall,
combination, putting the two together,
I'm going to go 4.5 out of 5.
I give it a 4.5 out of 5. And the only reason that I do not give it 5 stars is that finish.
Yes, indeed.
That lackadaisical finish
from Warrior,
from Ultimate Warrior, and I don't know if that was a planned spot.
No, I don't either. But
or if Warrior took it upon himself to if Warrior went into business for himself. I don't know.
I don't think he went into business for himself. I think it should have looked better than it should have been.
If he would have hit the 3 shoulder tackles
and then went for a quick pin,
then not even a quick pin, I don't think that would have made me happy.
Or just throwed his arm over him.
If he would have went for the 3rd shoulder tackle, pulled him back to the middle, then hit the backsplash again,
then went for
a leg hook pin, this is a 5 out of 5.
Or at least went for the backsplash, rolled Savage over, and then slung his arm over.
Yeah, just like he's cashed out. That's all he had.
Yeah.
I could have given it a 5 out of 5.
Indeed. After the match, Regis Philbin interviews The Undertaker with Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
Which, it was a comedy interview to a degree.
Yeah, it was. It was more or less to let Regis get a chuckle.
Yeah, Regis needs a moment.
Right.
And you see The Undertaker with his tape measure out, measuring Regis, and calling out measurements to Paul Bearer,
trying to fit him for a casket.
Yeah. And then it goes to Alex Trebek interviewing Demolition, Smash and Crush with Master Fuji. And Fuji actually refers to the opponents for Demolition's match as their Jap opponents.
Yeah.
You couldn't say that now in professional
wrestling. You really couldn't. It sort of brings back memories of that moment where Booker T let a word out about Hulk Hogan and then put his hands in his face. Or his face in his hands, rather.
Either way, he realized what he said, and then it was too late.
We coming for you.
And then Regis Philbin.
It's almost like, some of you will get this, some of you won't. It's almost like Booker T became Uncle Ruckus for a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, Fuji's doing his thing for Smash and Crush. By the way, pinpoint there, this is not Axe and Smash. This is Smash and Crush.
No.
And
then Philbin gets the interview with
Junichiro Tenryu and Koji Katao.
Yeah. And it was more, again, a comedy routine for Philbin.
Yeah. They don't speak English.
He don't speak Japanese much.
He don't speak Japanese.
Other than a few words.
Yeah. And
like Toyota.
Yeah, it was a moment, another moment of bad comedy.
Yeah.
And I won't say bad as in like it wasn't funny, it wasn't necessary.
Right.
It wasn't necessary, but it did give Regis, it gave the fans a chuckle. It gave a chance for them to
see Regis.
For Regis to ingratiate himself to the fans.
Right. And then goes to Alex Trebek.
Yes.
Backstage.
This is one of my favorite segments of the entire show.
With Jake the Snake Roberts and Damien.
Yeah.
And Alex is asking Jake questions, and Jake is just really downplaying this at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge follower, but Damien is.
Damien loves Jeopardy.
And what's his favorite category?
And his favorite category is reptiles of the world. And
Jake's trying to posture Damien as this Jeopardy fan, and
Yeah.
Alex is not taking.
Yeah.
Alex, I believe, has a true fear of snakes.
Well, he does, and actually they bounce back to the announce table, and Bobby Heenan, I don't know if he's breaking kayfabe here. He may well be. But even if he was, it's amazing because they bounce back to the announce table, and Bobby Heenan tells us that he was the one that got to pick who the celebrities interviewed, and because he knew Alex Trebek had a severe fear of snakes,
He said
he's the one that set that up, and Bobby is legitimately cackling, laughing about this.
Indeed.
So I feel like Bobby may have just been breaking kayfabe a little there, because we do know now that Bobby did have some hands-on backstage with segments and the like,
and a very humorous side to a lot of
Bobby
things.
Bobby was a
He was a
humorous
prankster.
Yeah, and he liked to rib everyone. So,
but notice 4 interviews and not a whole lot.
Was said.
Then to the match, Junichiro Tenryu and Koji Katao.
Yeah.
Going one-on-one with Smash and Crush of Demolition, accompanied by Master Fuji. And immediately out of the gate, Monsoon refers to Demolition as Axe and Smash.
Yes.
But that's just, it's always been Axe and Smash.
Yeah.
And now it's Smash and Crush. And, you know, they go in and they make their entrance, and Crush starts out with Katao, and Fuji immediately gets that cane shot in.
Yeah.
You expect it from Fuji. And
by the way, the crowd wasn't sure what to make of Tenryu and Katao.
I don't think they were. I don't think if they, you know.
Not to mention, it doesn't matter who you had put in this match.
No.
To follow what just happened between Warrior and Savage was a big ask.
Well, here's the thing. To me, this was the match. Go get your pop.
Right.
Go get your hot dog, and hurry back.
This was the moment.
If you got to go use the little boys, little girls' room, go use the bathroom.
Which is why this match got I got 4 minutes, 44 seconds.
That's what I got, 4:44.
So the fact that this match only got 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, tells me that this was really just a filler match. This was what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
This is a match that it doesn't really matter.
No.
So it's an average filler match that should get a 2 stars. And look, it was essentially a squash.
Not necessarily.
Well, yeah, Tenryu and Katao did get some offense there that makes it not a squash match.
No.
But for all intents and purposes, this was a drawn out squash match. Now, don't get me wrong, Tenryu and Katao did get some offense here that makes you go, wow, these guys got something.
Here's the only problem with the squash match. Demolition lost.
I understand, but it was still.
It didn't help Demolition's cause.
Right, it didn't help Demolition's cause, and
you're rebuilding Demolition.
Maybe that's because of what's getting ready to happen in a few moments.
Possibly.
We'll get to that when we get there, but. This is a rebuilding. You're right. It's a rebuilding period for Demolition.
Yeah.
But I think this was probably booked. We know now that at the time, Vince McMahon booked everything leading to WrestleMania.
Right.
So this match very well may have been booked as much as a year in advance.
Well, it was a working relationship.
Yeah.
Between WWF at the time.
Yeah.
And Japan.
Japan.
Yeah. There was a working relationship. And that's why you had Tenryu and Katal at
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
But again, how long ago was this booked?
Yeah.
And maybe this was to, for all we know, this could have been booked so that they could build a feud between Demolition and the tag team stars of Japan.
Right.
And because Axe is now no longer part of this tag team, and you've moved on to Crush and Smash, it doesn't hold up. So they had to make some minor changes going into it.
You know.
And again, maybe the outcome of the match changed. Maybe they were supposed to go over. Maybe it was supposed to be a squash.
Do you think for 1 minute that Brian Adams, in his infinite wisdom, picked up the phone and made a phone call to Vince McMahon?
This is a tiger. No.
It's possible.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, he did have a great tiger mimicry.
Yeah.
I mean, not as good as the Undertaker's. Hey, baby. Hey, man, this is Tommy. I'm in a bad way down here, baby. I need some help. I need some work. What you got down there for me?
Undertaker was actually...
Man, I'll sell Maytags if you want me to, baby. I'll do anything, man. I'm in a bad way.
I mean, God, Maytags. I wouldn't buy a used car off that. Oh, give it a break.
Sadly, I almost bought a used lawnmower off of, well, it wasn't him, but it was... Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, folks.
Oh, you know, this is what happens when you let us review things.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Next up, Mean Gene Okerlund interviewing the Big Boss Man.
Well, we kind of glazed over the end of that.
Well, yeah. It was a shocker of an end.
Yeah.
You expect Demolition.
Yeah. Crush, the end was Crush hits a backbreaker on Tenryu. Smash gets tagged in and hits a back suplex. Smash sets up Tenryu for their finisher. Smash then throws Katal out of the ring. He comes back to knock Crush out. Tenryu gets an enziguri on Smash, then hits a powerbomb on Smash for the win at 4:44. Tenryu and Katal pick up the win. This was a bottle rocket without a fuse.
Yeah. And it went pop.
It was an odd booking decision to have Demolition lose against a team that was not going to be around very long.
Right. Especially at the WrestleMania moment. It didn't help their cause.
Right. And again, I feel personally like this was a change because of the change in the team, the team makeup.
Yeah.
Because this is no longer Axe and Smash Demolition. This is no longer the team that was actually built to replace or to
rival
the Road Warriors.
Yeah, to be WWF's answer to the Road Warriors.
And yet they lose half the team. They switch over to Brian Adams, Crush, and I think Vince he had every intentions of going ahead with this and billing them as WWF's answer to the Road Warriors.
Very well possible.
And then all of a sudden he gets his answer in the form of, well, not Demolition.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Absolutely. And like I said, you go then to Gene Okerlund interviewing the Big Boss Man.
Yeah.
And great interview. Boss Man playing the babyface in this
Yeah.
one. He's spot on, and he's talking about what he's going to do because he's got a match coming up against Curt Hennig, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
And he's going to take that Intercontinental title.
Yeah. Boss Man makes it known that Mr. Perfect and Bobby Heenan would pay for all the things they said about him and his family. Perfect and Heenan, they go to the locker room. Perfect and Heenan say there's no way that Boss Man leaves with the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
Then we move to the announce table where we see Gorilla Monsoon is now joined by Lord Alfred Hayes.
I love it.
I do too.
Love hearing Lord Alfred Hayes take the microphone because you get this. And go back to Lord Alfred Hayes, the wrestler. He was a heel.
Yeah, he was.
Now he's out here as a commentator.
And he's a perfect baby.
This soft-spoken English gentleman.
Yeah,
who
perfect
has
baby.
nothing but good things to say about the World Wrestling Federation and its fan base.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, I love listening to him on the microphone and on commentary. It's one of those commentary teams that don't get a lot of press, so to speak, is Lord Alfred Hayes, and not just Gorilla Monsoon, but Lord Alfred Hayes with Vince McMahon was another pretty good commentary setup. And then the match itself, the Intercontinental Championship match between the Big Boss Man and Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig.
Yeah. So, in this match, and by the way, I've got 10 minutes, 45 seconds for this match.
I do too.
So it was not a long match, but it was also not a short match. It's kind of that in between. But this is a much better match.
It is.
Than the one prior. It's not ever going to hold up to the scrutiny of the Savage Warrior match.
No, it's not.
But it's not meant to. This is, you hit this crescendo, and then you have to almost bottom out and then start back up.
Right, because you got to rebuild toward
the main event. So this match is definitely running back up the hill. And Boss Man comes out immediately showing his power. He nails Perfect with a massive clothesline.
And I'm going to tell you something.
It was perfect. It was beautiful.
Let me tell you, there is no better salesman in professional wrestling than Curt Hennig.
I'm one to usually agree with that. I think there's a couple other guys that are in that same category, and you would be hard-pressed to get me to pick one over the other.
Name me one.
Dolph Ziggler. Nick Nemeth.
Touche. You make your point. He was just as good.
He really was. I have to say, he was capable, just as capable of selling. He could, both of them, Shawn Michaels could oversell and make you look like a fool.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen.
Curt Hennig does it.
Curt Hennig and Nick Nemeth would oversell to the moon and still make you look good.
Yeah. But like when Boss Man slings Hennig into the corner and he comes out and just basically flips out of the corner onto his back, it's anybody else would look ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's Hennig showcasing the strength of the Big Boss Man.
Exactly. And that's exactly after that clothesline.
And this goes back to telling wrestling psychology. Showing the strength. Showcasing the wit and the determination of the power and determination of the Big Boss Man, the wit and acumen of Mr. Perfect.
Yeah. And at this point, Boss Man pulls off his belt, uses it to whip Curt Hennig a few times in the corner. Perfect ends up taking it and punching Boss Man with the belt, and is able to take over control of the match for a bit. He whips Boss Man in the corner pretty hard, sending Boss Man to the mat.
Bobby Heenan out there at ringside.
That abdominal stretch. Perfect slaps on an abdominal stretch there. And Boss Man does a good job of he just got whipped with this belt.
Yeah.
And then Hennig throws on this flawless, really flawless abdominal stretch.
Yes.
And Boss Man does a good job of selling, okay, these two in conjunction, really putting some pressure, causing some damage.
Right.
But then things motivate on. Of course, Hennig works Boss Man over a little bit.
Right.
Boss Man fights out of it, and Perfect hits, well, a perfect drop kick.
Right. Top notch.
That neck snap, it wasn't really a snap over, but I don't know. It was kind of a, what do you call it?
It wasn't a snapmare. It was just a rolling. There's a name for it, and I can't think of it. It bothers me that happens. A flying neck snap more than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he just basically goes over and grabs the head as he's going through and pulls it down.
Yeah,
and just,
it is almost a variation on a
flipping
blockbuster.
stunner almost.
Yeah, almost a variation of a blockbuster combined with a stunner type.
Yeah.
It's a great move. Perfect does it to perfection.
Yeah.
And it was a move that he used regularly. Perfect goes up. Boss Man gets his foot up and hits Mr. Perfect in the face. Boss Man then uses the post as a weapon, ramming Mr. Perfect groin first into the post.
Yeah.
And Perfect again
Sells it like
oversells the crap out of it to the point that it makes Boss Man look like he is an indomitable force.
Yes.
Boss Man hits a big uppercut.
Yeah.
Big uppercut at this point that knocks Mr. Perfect to the floor. At this point, Boss Man goes after Bobby Heenan. And he's kind of chasing Bobby Heenan. Mr. Perfect attacks from behind and throws Boss Man into the steel steps. And who comes down the aisle?
Well, as Bobby Heenan's trying to get back up the aisle.
Yeah.
He runs smack dab into the eighth wonder of the world himself, Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Makes his way down the aisle, forcing Bobby Heenan back around.
To thunderous applause, I might add.
Indeed. I mean, that, you talk about a rock pop.
Yeah.
You know, Andre the Giant, it didn't matter at what period in his career, he could make the fans react to his appearance. All he had to do was show up.
Yep. I mean, my goodness, he was 7'4", 7'5". Build, right. He was, what, 7'1"?
He was 7 foot if he was lucky.
Yeah. Actually, at that point in his career, 7 foot if he was lucky. In his earlier days, he was
tall.
From many members of his family and others that knew him personally, 7'3", 7'4" was probably not wrong. But over the years, his spine did compress, and he started to stoop a little, and
he had the back
I think
problem.
his knees. At that point in time, I don't think his knees ever completely straightened out. So his knees had always had a bit of a bend in them, and it did bring him down a little bit. I would say probably 6'10", 6'11" at that point.
Andre was so young.
Yeah.
You know, we talk. You know, I'm 44 now. You're
41, be 42.
41, be 42. Andre was probably, he died at 43.
Yeah, something like that.
So he was 39, 40, 41, somewhere in that neighborhood during this time frame. It's kind of hard to believe that he was that young, but he looked so old.
Yeah. But Andre comes down, basically chasing Bobby back the other direction.
Yeah.
Perfect at this point has exposed the steel underneath one of the turnbuckles and has rammed Boss Man into the exposed steel. The cameras pretty much missed this.
Yeah.
Like, they catch it, but they miss it.
Yeah.
Right? They're not focused on it. Perfect has reached outside the ring to get the IC title from Andre,
Right.
who had grabbed the title, and actually, if I'm not mistaken, he was actually getting ready to hit Bobby with it, and Perfect reaches to get it. Andre
Cracks him with
clocks Mr. Perfect with it. The ref, of course, misses it.
Boss man.
Ref missed all of it. Ref missed probably 3 minutes there. I don't know if he was taking a nap or a siesta.
He
or
could have
what.
been. You never know.
But both guys are down. Boss man rolls over for the cover. Perfect kicks out. It was a good near fall there.
It was.
Haku and Barbarian then come in to attack Boss Man.
There's the disqualification.
And there's your DQ. It's a win for Boss Man at 10:45, but obviously Boss Man does not walk away with the title, which goes to show that Heenan and Hennig were correct. That Boss Man was not going to leave there with the title.
And they made sure that happened.
And notice they did not say that he wouldn't win. They just said he would not leave there with the title.
That's it. So. And mind you, this was the last time we see Andre the Giant on WWF television.
Yeah. It was
final TV appearance.
It was a fun moment. We get to see Andre get his hands on Mr. Perfect and on Bobby Heenan. Gets a few shots in on Haku and Barb too.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Heenan family retreats. Andre dies 2 years after this. But it was a good match. It was a good match before all the interference.
Yes.
I think it would have been. I would have probably given it a 3.5 before all the interference. And then there's the Andre thing added to the fun of the match.
The Andre thing did. It added to. Did he have to get as involved as far as the actual match? Not necessarily. No. But Haku and Barb making the save, I think you would have been better served if it only been Haku.
Yeah.
Or only been Barbarian. Because that would have got the disqualification.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it is what it is. The disqualification happens. Or even, Heenan could have snuck one in and got a DQ for it.
Right.
But
you didn't need all the extra.
It goes back to Night of Champions with Cena and Punk.
Yeah. And you had one run in and then another run in and then another run in and then another run in.
And here's another one.
Yeah.
And
then all of that run in played no part
of the match itself other than
to
Seth Rollins, you could say there's a need for him to ran in, but back to this, what do you give it?
Again, I would have given it probably a 3.5. Even with the Andre run in, I would have given it a 3.5. After the Haku Barb run in and the sort of cheapening of the win or cheapening of the retention of the title, I give it a 2.5.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
So
I will give it a 3 simply because it was a great match between the two. They were back and forth. They done very well together, doing the sells for each other.
Yeah.
Both of them got some great offense. Hennig sold for Boss Man in ways that nobody else would have.
Yeah.
And I think the Andre coming to the ring was the icing on the cake. That's where it ends. Then you get the DQ, and everything kind of gets a little bit beleaguered there. And it was good. It was good.
It was a good match, and it was a very fun match. But again, unlike Uncle Dave, I don't have to have a 4.5 or 5-star match to be entertained.
No, I don't.
I can watch a 2 or 2.5 star match and still be entertained if it's done properly.
Yes.
And for my money, this was a 3.5 star match, so it was definitely entertaining. It was super fun. Just the last 30 seconds or so really knocked it down a little bit, so I give it a 2.5. I could go with a 3. I could say, okay, I give it a 3, but yeah, it was a good match. It was fun.
Right.
It just wasn't a banger.
No, it wasn't.
Mr. Perfect was capable of putting on 5-star matches, and I'll be honest with you, I think Ray Traylor was.
He was just as capable.
He was just as capable. As a big man, Boss Man was definitely capable of putting on 4 and 5-star matches.
And he was
with the right opponent, and Perfect was the right opponent for that.
Boss Man was another one of those big guys that, you talk about Undertaker doing these moves, and Kane doing these moves, and Vader, and,
Bam Bam.
Bam Bam, and immediately Ray Traylor could do some stuff that was quite impressive for a big guy.
Let's not forget the natural disasters in that. If we're going to talk about big men that can move, and Yoko.
Yeah. Earthquake, Typhoon, Yokozuna. Great athletes.
Yeah.
Then you had Mean Gene Okerlund out at ringside interviewing some pretty important guests.
Some very impressive guests.
In fact, he starts off with the current, now president and WWE Hall of Famer.
He's your president too. Get over it.
Oh, Fiddle. Couldn't let that one die, could you?
Nope.
Nope, didn't think so. But anyway.
By the way, just to point out, we talked about numbers a little bit ago. And WrestleMania 4 and 5 were held in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
At the Trump Plaza.
At the Trump Plaza. Donald Trump has been a friend of Vince McMahon for many, many decades.
Yeah.
And a fan of wrestling for that many or more.
That's fact.
There was actually plans for WrestleMania 6 to be held, or rather 8. Yes, there was plans for WrestleMania 8 to be held
at Trump
Plaza. And those plans fell through due to some unforeseen circumstances.
Are you saying that you don't need to AI generate Donald Trump to...
Well, I mean, if you're good enough, you don't need AI generated Donald Trump.
You just
get the real thing.
We need to make some phone calls.
We need to make some phone calls.
Because
I'll be honest.
I
think we're good enough.
I think we are. I honestly do.
By the way, Gene talks to Donald Trump, as you said, and then he also goes on to talk to,
he talks to Chuck Norris.
You had to ruin it. He talked to the Hulk, the Fonz, and the True Goat.
Walker, Texas Ranger,
Chuck Norris, Lone Wolf McQuaid, however you want to view him, Chuck freaking Norris. By the way,
you're not. Oh. Go ahead. I know you want to. It's come on him.
Do you know where the undefeated 1972 Miami Dolphins come from?
Miami, Florida.
Well, further back than that.
No.
Yeah, Chuck Norris mated with a convent of nuns, and they gave birth to the undefeated Miami Dolphins.
Oh, you never give up, do you?
No.
I didn't think so. Oh, my God.
Chuck Norris does push-ups, but he's not pushing himself up. He's pushing the earth down. You know, Chuck Norris once had a bet and a fight with Superman.
What was the result?
Well, the bet was that they would fight, and the loser has to wear his underwear on the outside of his pants. You can figure it out from there, I'm sure.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you done?
Speaking of earthquakes, we get to see John Tenta, Earthquake, versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. And once again, we have the appearance of the wonderful, great, beloved Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Take a drink.
Yeah.
And Bobby Heenan is back on commentary.
Yes.
You know,
Let's start this. Let's start this with this. What do you got for time on this one?
3 minutes, 14 seconds.
That's exactly what I've got.
Let
3:14.
me tell you something. This is the difference in unnecessary and meaningful.
Yes. Yeah.
To me, this is the difference, because here's the deal. Okay, not knowing the main event.
Yeah.
Let's hold off on what Earthquake would eventually do.
Yes.
This is the building of another heel character.
Mm-hmm. Well, go back to Undertaker versus Snuka.
Mm-hmm.
It's the very same thing, except this one is
A little more.
Undertaker had already begun to build by the time he'd seen his first WrestleMania.
Right.
He had already begun to build. He debuted at what? SummerSlam the year before? Was it SummerSlam?
It was.
Yeah. SummerSlam the year before. So Undertaker is about 8 or 9 months into his career when he reaches his first WrestleMania.
This is awkward too, because this match.
Oh, Survivor Series.
Yeah, Survivor Series.
Undertaker debuted at
1990.
Survivor Series in 1990. He has his WrestleMania debut here, WrestleMania VII, 1991. So Undertaker's 6 months into his wrestling career here with WWF.
Right.
Earthquake, I don't think, is that far into his Earthquake gimmick at this point, is he?
Yeah. When did Earthquake debut?
Well, we'll find out.
September 21st, 1989. So he had been there.
Well, was that the
Almost.
Earthquake gimmick?
It
though?
was. It was.
Okay. 'Cause I know
Well,
he made a...
He debuted as John from West Virginia.
Right.
But that was as a fan in the ring, and then
Right. I'm just
he
talking about...
immediately,
Yeah.
you know, pretty much he immediately became the Earthquake. It
Um,
was kind of a quote-unquote
so
setup at that point.
he had been there a little longer, but they hadn't really been using him as this.
No, he hadn't made any kind of big headway.
Right. But this is the beginning. This is really the beginning point of him building toward what would become his big push.
Right.
So they're really trying to build him up at this point. He's no longer just this big guy that comes out and squashes,
No, he's going,
squashes enhancement talent.
he's going for bigger games. So
Yes,
to speak.
he is.
He is going up against former Intercontinental Champion at the time, and actually former teammate.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you remember WrestleMania VI, Greg the Hammer Valentine was the tag team partner of the Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah.
The Honky Tonk Man.
The Honky Tonk Man.
Who was managed by Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Hart, yeah.
So, and this is something else that they didn't mention it. They didn't mention that Greg Valentine was a former client, so to speak, of Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
It just, there's so much story that you can tell. But immediately, this match takes off, and I wrote down Valentine has some of the prettiest elbows in professional wrestling.
He does.
And he's just so built. He's not ripped. He's not muscular.
He's just a big, barrel-chested.
He's like this beefy, stocky,
yeah,
husky, so to speak.
He's almost like, you see these guys. You see some of these videos on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, where they pit these bodybuilders against construction workers.
Yeah.
And the construction workers don't have the muscles, and they're not shredded and ripped and look like Lou Ferrigno's poop. But they will constantly outpower, outlift, outwork the bodybuilder.
Yeah. It's work muscle versus show muscle.
Yes.
But in this match, 3 minutes, 14 seconds. It was, but it wasn't.
I've got a complete rundown of the entire match.
Hit it up.
Earthquake obviously comes into this the heel. Valentine was nearing the end of his career. Everybody knows going in the outcome. Quake comes in, hits a big body slam for 2. Valentine avoids a charge and busts out an elbow. Elbows, should say.
Yeah.
Just constant. Big elbows, which dazes Earthquake, knocks him down to one knee. A big clothesline nearly takes Earthquake down to the mat. And then an elbow off the middle rope finally puts him down. Valentine hits a headbutt to the groin, followed by an attempt at a figure 4 leg lock. But that is kiboshed by Jimmy Hart screaming, "Yeah, baby, hey, come on!" That's Jimmy Hart, right? He's screaming and yelling, and it draws the attention of Greg Valentine. Valentine sort of drops the figure 4 attempt. That's when Earthquake comes back, knocks him down, hits a big elbow, starts the trimmers, bouncing around the ring, and then hits the splash and the pin. 1, 2, 3. 3 minutes, 14 seconds.
Right.
It's really that quick.
It was good.
For what it was, what it was meant to be.
It was meant to do what it did.
Mm-hmm.
It done what it did. Now, what do you give it?
So, just based on what it accomplished, which is showcasing Earthquake as a threat.
Yeah. The power, the strength, the force.
I give it a 2.5.
I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 3. It was a great match to me.
It done exactly what it was supposed to do.
Right. It was great. Now, next up, you had Sean Mooney interviewing the Legion of Doom. They making their WrestleMania, a lot of WrestleMania.
This is Legion of Doom. This is the Road Warriors,
right?
Which is what I was talking about earlier when I said there's probably a good reason why we didn't get the squash that probably should have been with Demolition,
right?
And it's because Demolition was set to be WWF's answer to the Road Warriors.
Now they
have the Road Warriors. Although under a different name, they have the Road Warriors.
Yes.
They no longer need Demolition. Demolition already lost half of its face with Axe.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, Legion of Doom, 1-on-1 with the team of Power and Glory, Hercules Hernandez and Paul Roma, with the Dr. Style Slick. 59 seconds.
Yeah. And I do have a full rundown of that one.
Power and Glory jump started.
Yeah.
And you
massive,
take it from there.
Hey, Road Warrior pop coming out the gate.
Yeah.
Massive babyface pop for LOD. Hawk hits a double clothesline on both guys. Hercules dumps him to the floor. Hawk, that is. Roma slams Animal. Roma goes to the top rope. Animal catches Roma and gives him a power slam. Hawk stuns Hercules on the floor below. Animal put Roma on his shoulders. Hawk goes to the top, comes off for the finish. 1, 2, 3.
It's over.
It's over.
Here's the thing. For me, I wish they'd have used another team.
Yeah.
It didn't. I understand using Power and Glory.
Yeah.
But.
Well, you've got to show that the Legion of Doom is that good. You got to put them in against someone that's as big and powerful as them.
Right. Who can we?
And Hercules Hernandez was a physical specimen.
Who can we job out?
Right. And that's what they done. They jobbed out Hercules Hernandez and Paul Roma. Was it the right thing to do? Probably not.
No, you could have found two jobbers. I mean,
you could have found two big jobbers to do that.
I mean, hell, you could have thrown.
You would have had to have had two big jobbers.
You could have found a couple men, thrown some masks on them.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been easy.
Well, I mean, even if you,
do it nowadays.
Well, yeah, I mean, anybody can throw a mask on and pretend to be
Iranian,
Iraqi, Pakistani, Afghani,
Japanese, Russian, Chinese,
Ukrainian, whatever.
But the point of the matter is I don't know.
Who of the people in the WWF at the time, the people in either the undercard singles or undercard tag, you'd have to pick two from the singles or one tag team from the. Who has the look, even if you stick a mask on them? Forget the face, forget the name. Who do you pick to job out, to actually give the look and the
Here's the problem.
Who do you job out to the Road Warriors?
But I don't know that you job them though.
Well, I mean, you have to do. I'm not a big Vince McMahon fan, but he knew going into that he had to. You have to give them some. You can't. He wanted them to immediately jump to the top of the tag team ranks. That's where he's going.
And you can't kill somebody good.
And you can't kill. Well, you've already killed the Hart Foundation because that was their last tag match together previously in this card. and we know that they split up after that for Brett to go on his singles run. So you can't feed, and you couldn't have fed the Hart Foundation to the Road Warriors anyway.
Right.
And I'm saying Road Warriors. We all know this is the Legion of Doom in WWF.
Same people,
It's the
Road
same
Warriors.
people. Hawk and Animal. It's the same people. But I'll use LOD just for posterity's sake.
Yeah.
You have to. Vince wants LOD to come in and immediately be considered top contenders for the tag titles.
Right.
So you have to feed them somebody that is going to make them look like they deserve to be there.
Yes.
So you could have fed them the Rockers. You could have fed them Haku. You couldn't have fed them the Rockers in the way that they fed them Hercules and Paul Roma, because you might as well give them two
babyface teams.
Well,
you'd had to had them.
Yeah, but you're talking about two near 300-pound jack dudes versus 280-pounders, and if you squash them, you're not doing anything for LOD.
This is true. So maybe they were. Power and Glory was the only option.
You can't feed them Haku and Barb. I mean, you could have. But then who do you give to the Rockers to get their pop at the beginning of the night? You can't feed them the Nasty Boys because you've already got the Nasty Boys going against Brett and Neidhart for the titles.
All right. There's really no
there's no other choice.
I mean,
you're stuck with feeding them Hercules Hernandez and Paul Roma, and I don't think that it was as bad of a move as we really considered it. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, looking back on it, originally
and knowing that, okay, the LOD is coming into this as they've never been in WWF before. But every single person watching, whether they're a WWF fan, whether they're watching their first WWF show or their 120th WWF show, everybody watching this knows who the Road Warriors are.
That they do.
Every single person knows who the Road Warriors are. If you were a wrestling fan in the 80s and 90s, you knew who the Road Warriors were.
You did.
So coming into this, you have to make them, okay, they've been on the outside looking in. They've never competed against a WWF quality tag team before.
Not the one that's established them.
So, right, that's what I'm saying. That's the story behind the story is they've never competed against a WWF quality tag team. The same as bringing somebody from Pride FC to the UFC. You bring somebody from Pride into the UFC. The UFC is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
That's where everybody wanted to be. You bring a Pride fighter in, and you've got to put them against someone that they're probably not ranked top 4 in their weight class, but they've got to be, like, you've really got to test them. Are they capable of being in this WWF or UFC ring? And I can't think of anyone else. I mean,
ultimately, no. I mean,
could you have changed the matches a little bit and fed them Smash and Crush?
No.
You can't.
No, because it would have ended up being the whole idea of the Road Warriors versus Demolition, and you wouldn't have wanted it to have been second-hand Demolition going against Road Warriors because then
first-hand Demolition.
Then you would have never been able to say, well, they couldn't beat Axe and Smash.
Right. Well, they beat Smash and Crush. They couldn't have beat Axe and Smash.
Yeah, Axe and Smash. That would have put an asterisk.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you still could, because
maybe Power and Glory was the best bet.
in Vince's mind at the time, you're thinking, oh, he is thinking the big draw, the big money here is Demolition versus LOD.
Yeah.
And
now that we don't have Axe,
right,
we can't just outright feed them Smash and Crush
but
out
you've
the
got to
gate.
build that story so that that becomes a top billing. That could have been a main event. Axe and Smash Demolition versus LOD could have been a WrestleMania main event.
It could have very well.
So you have to build this and hope that you get Axe back, which we kind of knew you wouldn't, but you kind of build this hoping that you can get Demolition back up to that level,
right,
at the same time that LOD is coming to that level, and then you have that clash.
This is true.
But you still have to feed them someone.
Right.
Hercules and Paul Roma, I think, is the only option. I can't think of another tag team in the WWE at the time.
Not at that
WWF,
time.
That even if you did say, okay, well, we can feed them Haku and Barb, but we're going to have to put them under masks.
They'd still stick out like sore thumbs.
Well, yeah, they'd still stick out like sore thumbs. You'd have to put them in full body suits. But even at that, you kind of got to feed them a name.
Yeah.
Like it's
you got to
not
get
just,
them over.
It's not just the look; it's also the name.
Yeah.
And even though Hercules Hernandez and Paul Roma were probably never going to hold tag team gold, they were still a solid heel tag team.
That they were. And so you end up. So originally, I gave it a 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
But I am actually going to amend this
Mm-hmm.
to a 2 out of 5. Because it did do what it was supposed to do. It may have not been, it may have just, had there not been 2 other squashes on the card,
Yeah.
it would have been easier to eat.
Right.
But seeing how this was the 3rd squash on the card.
Yeah, it really was. It was the
became,
3rd squash on the card.
And it wasn't the last squash on the card.
Yes, it wasn't. But I'm there with you. I think this is about a 2, 1.5 to 2. I think it showcased the Road Warriors very well. I'm right there with you. I don't like the fact that they literally fed LOD power and glory.
Yeah, I don't.
But I also, the more I've thought about it, the more I understand it, because I've racked my brain for, well, over a week now, thinking, who else could they have fed them?
There's really nobody.
There's really nobody else.
Meant anything.
That would have had the same meaning.
Yeah.
So to take 2 guys with the name and the size and the look
Right.
of Herc and Paul Roma and say, okay, sorry guys, we're feeding you to the wolves, literally.
Yeah.
It's all they could do.
Indeed. So I gave it a 2 out of 5. What do you give it?
I'm giving it a 2 out of 5.
All right. Next match up, and we are treated to the montage showing the abuses of Virgil by the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Yeah. And it's not just the abuses. We get to see Virgil hit DiBiase with the $1 Million belt at Royal Rumble. And we also get to see Rodney Piper.
Rodney Piper.
Rodney steps in as the quote-unquote trainer of Virgil.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, we're to assume that Virgil has next to no wrestling knowledge. The truth is, Virgil was drizzling shits. I mean, we had a bit of a spat about this at the last taping. And you said, well, he wasn't that bad. And while I agree he wasn't the worst,
he wasn't the best.
I also want to point out again that if Dustin Rhodes says that you couldn't wrestle yourself out of a wet paper bag, you're the drizzling shits.
Yeah. Indeed. And
I mean, he did have a hammer.
This match, I mean,
he did have a hammer. But that's all you can say for it.
This match, I understand the philosophy.
By the way, that line in the song gets me every time.
What's that?
Some might cost a little, some might cost a lot, but I'm the $1 million man, and you will be bought. It's so fitting.
It's golden.
It might be.
Everybody's got a price, and somebody's got to pay. But the $1 million man always gets his way.
I love that song. If there's ever been a theme song
That was fitting.
that truly just was perfection to the star,
It was
aside
that song.
from the bells for the Undertaker.
I thought you was gonna say the bells for the ding dongs.
No, aside from the bells for the Undertaker.
Look that one up, fans.
And don't get me wrong, I think Metalingus for Edge was perfect. I think Voices for Randy Orton is perfection at its finest. But man,
And John Cena sucks is perfect for John Cena.
John Cena's own songs.
John Cena
by the way,
sucks.
if you've not heard
John Cena
some of his other stuff, he's actually a really, really good rapper.
Listen, he ain't no Ron Killings.
Well, Ron's not just a rapper either, because that latest song he's got
I'm gonna
out
tell you something.
is great.
Ron
It's
Killings
really
is
fantastic.
great. I love Ron Killings. I'm gonna tell you, you run that man for president on the Communist Party, I'd vote for him. I would. Could you imagine it? R-Truth, Ron Killings, and Little Jimmy for president and vice president. He's great. I mean,
It's fantastic.
I'm gonna tell you.
That song is absolutely
He's $1
fantastic. For the
million
love of
bucks.
Pete, Count My Sins by Ron Killings. Go check it out. YouTube. Download it on Apple Music or Google, whatever. Go download that song. It is phenomenal.
Now, while we're going and doing something, let's talk about that match. I mean,
Yeah,
it was.
we got off
You know,
topic. but
Roddy
it's okay.
Piper. Roddy Piper comes down to the ring.
Piper?
Rodney Piper comes down to the ring with a crutch
Yeah.
because he was in a motorcycle wreck. To me, out of the gate,
Yeah.
this match was a motorcycle wreck. I mean,
It was.
Ted DiBiase comes out to his music. Roddy Piper comes out to the bagpipes. What does Virgil come out to? I'll give you a hint.
Nothing.
There you go.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
They don't even give him entrance music.
No.
They could have let him
Nothing.
walk down with Roddy.
In fact, Roddy gets to the ring and waits a second and grabs the microphone and hollers, "Virgil, come on out." I'm like, no music for this guy that you've just built up?
Yeah.
All right, get to the end of this thing as fast as you know how.
So
without killing.
this match, this absolute
They build it up so much.
this absolute disaster, this car wreck, this train wreck of a match runs 7 minutes. I've got 7:41.
That's what I got.
So to beat around the bush, you go into this thinking, okay, Virgil's never had that much wrestling experience, even though he has. DiBiase is the experienced veteran. The crowd's rooting for Virgil. Virgil comes out, decks DiBiase with some punches. DiBiase tries to fight it, stand toe-to-toe, but Virgil's punches are too much, too quick. Ted bails to the floor to regroup. DiBiase gets back in the ring. Virgil hits a clothesline to send him back out to the floor. Back in the ring, DiBiase hits a clothesline of his own. Virgil gets a back elbow for two. DiBiase shows frustration here. Finally, DiBiase trips him up, slowed the match down by working him over in the corner. DiBiase then hits a clothesline here and follows it up with a pile driver. Virgil kicks out. Suplex for Ted. Gets another 2 count. And he gets a gut wrench suplex for his troubles. DiBiase throws Virgil out to the floor. After throwing Virgil back in the ring, DiBiase shoves Piper to the ground. Power slam by DiBiase. Virgil whips DiBiase into the ropes. Piper uses his crutch to pull down the top rope. DiBiase hit Piper again. And by the way, he pulls the rope down. DiBiase flips over the top. Piper gets hit again. He's standing on the apron. The ref counts to 10. And that was probably one of the fastest 10 counts I've ever seen. Even the ref knew that this was the drizzling shits.
I mean, with the build up to this match, you expect so much.
Yeah.
And then you have, after the match is over, Sherry comes back out. Apparently, she's done aligned herself with the $1 Million Man. And they attempt to break Piper's leg again.
Well, okay. Virgil is limited, and we knew that. They knew that.
Yeah.
And the crowd was absolutely not interested in this match at all. There was very little noise out of the crowd. Even boos were not, It
was more of those things like,
they wanted to put Virgil over, but they didn't want to put him over clean.
I think they should have, though.
Well, they should have, I think.
I mean, if you were really going to do it.
So
they went, favor.
Yeah, but they went with the count out there because they didn't want to put him over clean. And if you don't want to put him over clean, the count out's the best way to do that. DiBiase puts Virgil in the $1 Million Dream. Piper goes into the ring under the bottom rope and smacks DiBiase in the back with one of his crutches. Sherry comes out to save DiBiase. DiBiase steals the crutch and beats Piper's leg with it. Virgil recovers, gets back to his feet. DiBiase and Sherry escape, and she ends up becoming his manager at this point.
Yeah.
Virgil helps Piper to his feet and helped him out of the ring. Got good heat for DiBiase.
It did.
And it gives you, Sherry's not done.
She's found somebody else.
She's already went to the back and used her womanly wiles to weasel her way into, the good graces of the $1 Million Man. It allowed for good heat. The post-match attack was the best part.
Honestly, yeah. It was the you expected so much more. And then we get a package foreshadowing the main event.
Yes.
Followed by Sean Mooney's interview with Sergeant Slaughter and General Adnan.
Yeah.
After that interview, though, the semi-main event.
Well,
actually,
Slaughter,
back up.
Slaughter calls Hogan's fans pukemaniacs.
Let's back up to the Roddy Piper Virgil match. What'd you give it?
I can't give it a 0 because of the end. That post-match attack and Sherry finding her place in the world again. I'm going to give it 3/4 of a star.
I give it 1. Now, back up to General Adnan, Sergeant Slaughter's interview.
Slaughter burns a Hulk Hogan t-shirt, then calls Hulk Hogan fans pukemaniacs. He didn't burn it in person. They showed a clip of him burning a Hulk Hogan t-shirt.
I'd have burned it in person.
Yeah, that would actually been...
That would have been more heat at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Back there, he's got a garbage can or an oil barrel or whatever, an Iraqi oil barrel.
Yeah, that would have been good.
You'd have had an oil barrel with the Iraqi flag on it, and Slaughter just take that shirt and throw it in the in that barrel and light
it up and throw it in the barrel.
And
have just a little bit of lighter fluid in the bottom of that barrel. That way, when it hit the bottom, it went.
Yeah,
it would have been good.
It would have been great. Then the next match, the Mountie, with guess who? Jimmy Hart.
Take a drink.
That's right. There's your 4. going one-on-one with Tito Santana. You know, for what it was worth, this could have been a match. This right here could have been a match.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
Could have been a match. Wasn't meant to be a match.
Wasn't meant to be a match. A minute and 21 seconds.
Bobby Heenan starts the whole show by making a Mexico joke long before the bell rings. Again, this is another quickie. I got minute 20.
Minute 21 here.
Tito comes out of the gate early with a flying forearm, goes to the floor. He's rammed by the Mounties, rammed Mounties' head into Hart's double noggin knocker.
Yeah.
Tito then hit an atomic drop followed by a punch. The ref told Tito to back away from the Mountie when he was in the ropes. Mountie gets his taser. Bzz, and there's no sound effect. There's no blue
nothing.
light. There's nothing. It's just he
Nothing.
pokes him in the belly with it.
Santana don't even jiggle. I mean, if, you know, I don't know.
Again, this is another match that the crowd had no interest in.
It was a good match to go grab you a quick pop
Yeah.
and get back to your seat because the main event's coming up.
If you went during the, what was it, the demolition match, if you went during the demolition match and got a pop and a bag of popcorn, this was the match where you were supposed to go pee.
Yeah. And get back.
And come back.
Fast.
Really short, minute and 20 seconds, minute and 21. Crowd had no interest in it, and the crowd was honestly, they were antsy for the main event and ready to move along.
They're ready.
Get the main event over with and go home.
More so.
More
so.
Back in the interview area, Doc.
That's it. Gene Okerlund interviewing Hulk Hogan. Yeah, Hulk Hogan give a classic babyface interview. You know, he's going to go out there and do this. Take care of Sergeant Slaughter and rid the world of that Iraqi sympathizer.
The 26-inch pythons.
Yeah. And we are on to our main event.
Well, Howard Finkel announced Alex Trebek in that moment backstage, calling him the co-host of Jeopardy.
Damn, they introduced Marla Maples.
Alex Trebek is the only host of Jeopardy.
Well, at that time, yes.
He was not a co-host of Jeopardy. He was the host of Jeopardy.
Maybe they thought he should host Jeopardy.
Well,
could you imagine Howard Finkel as the host of Jeopardy?
I would.
Reptiles of the world for 1,000.
I would rather see Regis as the. And it's nothing against Finkel. I like the Fink.
All right, everybody, we got Reptiles of the World for 1,000.
I would much rather see Regis Philbin as the host than the Fink.
Yeah.
But the world champion enters first. Sergeant Slaughter.
Slobber.
Yeah.
Sergeant Slobber.
Bring me that. You just had it. Bring me that. Folks, DJ ALX is off the screen here. He's going to bring me something so I can show you this. Folks,
remember the argument.
That's Superman. And if you'll notice,
he actually
this is the new Superman, but they still put the belt out here with that little point down to make it almost appear like it's his underwear. But Superman,
they've even tried to politically correct Superman.
Superman lost that fight with Chuck Norris and had to wear his underwear.
Let me explain something. That is what Superman should have looked like had he won.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Chuck Norris running around with his drawers around his in front of?
Can you imagine Walker, Texas Ranger, having to wear his underwear, having to wear his skibbies, his tighty whities on the outside of his? Yeah. So
that's it. I'm telling you. Oh my dear God. You know, this match, in a lot of minds, instant classic. The American Patriot, Hulk Hogan, going against the former G.I. Joe, the real American hero, Sergeant Slaughter, who is now an Iraqi sympathizer and has sold out to Saddam Hussein and the Iraqi.
And he comes to the ring with Adnan, who is supposed to be this Iraqi general.
and we discussed this.
Yeah.
The general is the lackey?
Yeah. The Iraqi general is the lackey to a United States Army sergeant.
Well, he's even an Iraqi sergeant at this point.
Yeah.
He's an Iraqi sympathizer.
So the only thing I can figure is that even if you're the general of another country's army, you're still lower class than the sergeant of a United States Army sergeant.
Yeah.
You're still lower than the United States Army sergeant.
Because that's the only way you justify it. But,
I mean, I guess.
I don't know. You know.
By the way,
Sergeant Slaughter rules.
But
he can do anything he wants.
Right. But I want to point out, when you watch this back and Hulk Hogan's music hits, did you remember when his music hits?
Mm-hmm.
Did you remember that crowd popping that big from your childhood?
No, I really didn't.
That was not only was that the biggest pop of the night, that was one of the biggest pops I can ever remember.
But, you know, looking back on the time frame that this happened.
Yeah.
Gulf War.
Yes.
America.
Yes.
And as a wrestling fan, you're seeing the American hero do away with the Iraqi turncoat.
Yes.
You could have called Sergeant Slaughter Benedict Arnold.
Yeah.
During that whole thing. And it would have been perfect.
Yeah. But that just goes to show that it doesn't matter what we think about Hulk Hogan as a person.
No.
And it really doesn't matter what we think about Hulk Hogan as a wrestler in the ring. Wrestling would not be what it is today without Hulk Hogan.
It's very true. I mean, you can say what you want to about...
You can call him a racist and say that his beer made you sick and talk about what he'd done to this one or that one behind the scenes and how much he screwed up WCW.
Professional wrestling would not have been had it not been for Hulk Hogan, not at least the modern era.
There was 16,100 some odd fans in attendance that night in 1991, and I guarantee you at least 14,000 of them were only there because Hulk Hogan was taking on Sergeant Slaughter.
One of two reasons, either because Hogan was there to take on Slaughter or the career match. That career match carried a lot of weight.
Well, it did. But there's a reason why this was also the main event. Vince knew how to sell it.
Yeah.
And Vince knew that if he's going to put on 14 matches here, he's going to have to put something in the middle that's absolutely going to steal the show. And that's why Savage and Warrior was placed where it was at. It was never meant to draw the crowd. It was there to keep the crowd.
Okay, we just saw this. This main event better be something.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely so. And this match, I mean, it was really Sergeant Slaughter playing the ultimate heel,
Mm-hmm.
using all the dirty tricks, and Hulk Hogan fighting back and fighting back and fighting back. And I'm sure you've got a roll call on this one.
You talking about a full?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I do. And it's the match was not incredibly long.
No, it was what? Let me see here. I've got it on mine.
I've got it.
I've got
somewhere.
it at 10. No, that is not it. 20 minutes and 26 seconds. Actually,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, it was long, but
It was relative.
I've got 2024.
Yeah.
But I've got a complete rundown of the match.
Go for it.
So we start out once both men are in the ring. Gorilla Monsoon is talking about how unbelievable the crowd is, and it really was. Go back, find it on YouTube or Peacock or somewhere, and watch that match. Watch the whole card.
Yeah.
But and if you want, hey, I would honestly, and I'm not just recommending this because I want you to watch us, but go back, watch the card, and listen to us talk about the card.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're trying to run this down as good as we can without having the video in front of us.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because of WWE,
WWE copyrights, we can't do that anymore.
30-year-old show, they still don't want. Yeah.
So, but the one thing that bothered me there, Gorilla talking about how unbelievable the crowd was, is I'm assuming he's forgetting about those dome crowds at WrestleManias 3 and 6. But
well, his job is to play up the crowd.
Right, I understand that. As a commentator, I understand that. But
you and I both.
Yeah, we've definitely oversold what was going on, but that's our job.
Yeah,
you know,
we do that.
But Hulk comes into this early on, gets a headlock, uses it as a control. This is Slaughter's first WrestleMania appearance, by the way. He was 42 years old here. I'm peeling from the sunburn. It's itching. Hulk knocked Slaughter out to the floor, beat on him with punches. Adnan attacks Hogan from behind, which led to Slaughter hitting Hogan in the back with a steel chair.
Right in front of the referee.
Right in front, right plain sight. Looked like it was the weakest chair shot maybe I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen some crappy chair shot. Look, it was worse than that chair shot that Jelly Roll gave at WrestleMania this year. Or last year.
Last year. Jelly Roll.
It was the most horrible chair shot I've ever seen.
I think that's your next feud is Jelly Roll and
Logan Paul.
Yeah. I hope to God Jelly Roll beats the hell out of him. I hope Jelly Roll
beats a mortal piss out of him.
I honestly do.
Slaughter at this point is begging for mercy, countered with a finger to the eye.
Right.
Slaughter hits a back elbow. Regis Philbin is now asking why Heenan is rooting for Slaughter.
Yeah, Philbin's on commentary.
Heenan said because he didn't like Hogan. That's it. That's all he gives. Hogan comes back with a clothesline, an atomic drop, gets a 2 count. Hulk hits a forearm to the head. Hulk gets a back body drop, Irish whip into the corner. Slaughter takes the bump chest first. Hulk does the Randy Savage knee to the elbow. You know what I'm talking about, the falling knee to the elbow thing.
Yeah.
Hulk actually steals that from Savage here and puts Slaughter down again. Hulk gives him a slingshot, quick slingshot into the ring post, and then a clothesline in the corner. Hulk pulls him back out of the corner, gets a 2 count. Hulk goes to the middle rope, which we don't see very often.
No, you don't.
You don't see Hulk Hogan go to the middle rope very often. You don't see Hulk Hogan leave the ground very often.
No.
But Hulk has been putting in a lot of offense at this point. You know it's going to flip, but
yeah.
Hulk drops him with a body slam, climbs to the top rope. I'm not sure exactly what the hell Hulk Hogan thought he was doing up there. General Adnan grabs his foot. Slaughter slams Hogan off the top rope. You know that's where that was going. Hogan never comes off the top rope. You know that's a setup for Slaughter to get the classic. It's the Sting body slamming Ric Flair off the top, and he grabs him And Rick's going, no, 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 no. And, there you go. That was
Only in
probably
reverse.
stolen. Right. You kind of know that that spot's not going to work.
No.
Slaughter gives a clothesline, sends Hulk out to the floor. Slaughter hit Hogan in the back with a chair again. He did it again. And this one was just only slightly better than the first one.
Right.
Ref saw it again. Didn't do anything. Slaughter chokes him with a cable. Ref sees it. We assume the ref is counting to 10, but it's been way more than 10 seconds at this point, and both of them are standing in the floor. They roll back in the ring. Slaughter's still on top.
Yeah.
He's working on Hogan's back. Goes for a backbreaker, gets a 2. Slaughter surprised it only gets a 2. Slaughter actually shows some emotion here at times that very good psychology from him, which is something you didn't see a lot.
His face is...
Slaughter puts Hogan in the Boston Crab. Hogan's right by the ropes. You know Hogan's going to reach the ropes. Hulk actually ends up taking about a minute to power out of it. And Regis is wondering why he don't just grab the ropes. And, well, Regis is saying what every single person watching is saying. Hogan is from here to here away from the ropes.
Why don't he just reach
and grabs the ropes, but instead he starts muscling out.
Yeah. It's...
Finally, Hogan doesn't, he finally does grab the rope.
Yeah.
We're all wondering why.
I think it would have weakened him.
Yeah.
It would have made him look weaker. That's why he didn't immediately go for the rope. He tried to fight it.
But I don't know why he took so long there. Slaughter kneed him to the back a couple times. Goes to the top rope, hits a knee to the kidney. Slaughter's pinning him. Adnan was yelling at the ref, which is Adnan distracting the ref and costing Slaughter a win there. I still don't understand that spot. Slaughter walks outside the ring, grabs a chair, hits Hulk in the head with it. That shot was a little better than the first two.
Right.
Actually, that shot was significantly better than the first two, just because it just looked cleaner. It looked like Sarge was giving it something.
Indeed.
I think the ref, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think the ref was actually, he didn't see that chair shot. He was still over there with Adnan.
I don't think he did. Is that that's the one he cracked him in the head, right?
Right.
That's Hogan, the one that actually opened him up.
Hogan's bleeding here.
Yeah.
Slaughter then puts Hogan in the camel clutch. The crowd is they're not really freaking out as much as you think they would at this point.
No, not at this point.
After about a minute, roughly 45 seconds to a minute, Hulk powers out of this camel clutch. Slaughter rams him face first into the turnbuckle, grabs the Iraqi flag and lays it over Hogan, over Hulk. This is the point.
Yeah.
Where
he's laying there, they lay the flag over him, and you see the blood just start seeping into the white on the flag.
And Hulk starts hulking up.
Yeah.
He's hulking up.
Coming back.
He hulks up.
Yeah.
Rips the flag. Classic Hogan Hulk up. Rips the flag. Throws some punches to the head. Or rather, Slaughter throws some punches to the head.
Right.
Hulk feels the power of Hulkamania, and there you go. Big finger poke, the punches, then the big boot. Followed that up with the big leg drop and the pinfall.
1, 2, 3, and it is over.
20 minutes, 24 seconds. Adnan making his presence felt multiple times. The referee, and again, you said it, Slaughter rules.
Yeah.
So
Slaughter get by with it.
Slaughter gets by
and
with...
that was the understanding. I've actually looked back. Slaughter's rules, he can do whatever he wants.
Right. But Hogan has to abide by the normal rules.
Right.
So, but right there at the end, just as soon as Hogan gets the 3 count, Slaughter kicks out.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't like, there are some guys that have, and Mick Foley is a prime example of this.
Yeah.
Mick fights back and fights back and fights back and fights back and fights back. And then you see, look at his match with Undertaker at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
He put his body literally through hell. And at the very end, if you can see my hand here, these are his legs.
Yeah.
At the very end, you watch his leg kip up a little bit, like he's trying to kick out, but that's all the energy he can muster is just to lift his leg and drop it.
Yeah. Slaughter actually kicked out.
Slaughter actually kicks out here. And it's one of those moments where you go, oh.
He had some left.
Slaughter still had some left. He just didn't muster it in time.
Yeah. The time was off.
Very psychological, it was a very good play right there. I think it was a good point in the match.
I think it was a great point in the match. All in all, not a bad match.
No.
I mean, honestly, I've very few flaws observed. As far as that match goes, maybe a little bit much with the Slaughter rules. I don't know. It told a story. They done a great job telling a story. I will give that match a 3 out of 5. Ultimately, it is Hulk Hogan becoming a 3-time WWF champion, which at that very point was a record.
Yeah.
Nobody had held the title 3 times.
Yeah.
As far as the show itself, the audience was very vested from the first match all the way through to the final bell. There were points that maybe they weren't as much, or who knows, that the match that they were seeing shouldn't or should have happened. WrestleMania 7 showcasing 14 matches on a card over 3.5 hours, roughly. Like I said earlier, nowadays they take 2 days to do this. And, go back if you really want to watch a pay-per-view and sit down and, take the time out to watch some of these old pay-per-views, these WrestleManias, the Survivor Series, the SummerSlams, the Starcades, the Great American Bashes, the Halloween Havocs, because wrestling history is something that we can all learn from. And I think, honestly, this is a great opportunity to be able to sit down. I was just telling everybody, what a great show this actually was. That, it's shows like this that set the stage for shows now.
Yeah.
And, if you have a chance, go back and watch it. Go back and watch WrestleMania 7 and, like I said, all the other shows. As far as WrestleMania 7 goes, we've went through all 14 matches from start to finish. What do you rank on a 5-star scale WrestleMania 7 as a whole?
Well, I don't think I actually, before I got up to check that, I don't think I gave a rank on the match itself, the main event.
3 out of 5 here.
I gave it a 2 3/4 out of 5. I think it definitely done what it was supposed to do. I just think there was a few goofy moments. Where I think maybe, and this is just my opinion, this is just what I see it as, I think maybe Adnan screwed up
when he shouldn't have.
I think maybe he had a couple of botches.
Anytime.
Specifically the one where
Slaughter's pin.
Yeah, Slaughter had the pin and Adnan is distracting the ref. And Slaughter didn't really
do anything
after. He didn't go to Adnan like, what are you doing?
Kick the bottom rope, you stupid fool.
Right. It makes me think that was probably a mistake on Adnan's part.
Yeah.
Maybe he was
All in all.
He jumped up on the apron a little too quick there.
Yeah.
So I give it a 2 3/4 out of 5.
I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
And again, runtime there 3:30 and some change.
That's it.
As overall as a show.
Overall as a show, what do you give WrestleMania 7?
There were several matches that we ranked a little low. One in particular that we both ranked very low.
Yes.
There was several moments that I think could have been. There were several matches that I think they could have took, what was it, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes for the Virgil match. They could have took that to about 3 and divvied that other 4.5 minutes up between a couple other matches.
They could have took some of those squash matches. And
they could have took 1 or 2 of those squash matches and just completely done away with them.
Yeah. But all in all,
I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5.
I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Fair to say.
The final match was great.
Yes.
The main event, it was great. It done its job. It done what it's supposed to do. Undertaker's match with Jimmy Snuka was really fun. And just because I didn't give it a 4 or a 5 doesn't take away from the overall of the show.
No.
The Savage Warrior match was of the utmost quality.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. If it had not been for that ending, I fully believe that would have been Randy Savage's second 5-star WrestleMania match in 7 years.
I agree with you.
And that's taken into consideration the overall, the post-match segment and all.
Yes, indeed.
Because that post-match segment was fantastic. What I have to say about 3.5 is 3.5 just means that if you're a wrestling fan, you should really go watch that.
Yes, indeed.
Go back
Absolutely.
and watch that show in its entirety, and hey, put your own rankings on it and compare them to ours. Let us know how you rank it.
Go back. I mean, if you haven't saw it in 35 years, which
we hadn't,
go back and watch. I mean, doesn't hurt a bit. You'll enjoy it. And I don't know about you, but I want to thank Nick Opalewski for
absolutely
putting us to the challenge on this. Not only did we review it for you once, we done it twice, and you'll never know about the first time.
Yeah.
But,
well, you'll know about the first time.
Yeah, because we told you.
See the first time.
That's it.
But Nick, we apologize for it taking so long, but we decided that we told you we were going to do it.
And we done it.
Damn it, we're going to do it.
That's it, my friend.
Nick, we love you.
Hey, Nick, if you're watching this, got a few things for you.
You put
my
that
notes
together. This is the doc's notes with he got a letter to you here.
Also
signed,
got
dated.
over in the bag there's that envelope on the first,
Right there.
It's got the initial, what should have been, episode, pull that out of there.
I'm working on it. This is
what should have been
the initial notes from Cussin and Discussin, episode 54.
Of what should have been episode 54.
Right. Which at the time was titled, It Had to Start Somewhere. Savage's Farewell and Blowing Out Candles. This was what we taped on July 2nd that we did not get to air because of an audio malfunction. And if you'll notice down here at the bottom,
we
both signed it.
And there
on this card, we both signed it as well.
The name of that card for that show.
That was the name of that card. Unfortunately, none of that aired, but you're going to get this.
Send me your address and a message, and I will get this in the mail to you just as soon as possible.
Right there's the envelope it'll all be in.
putting it in the envelope. Get me your address. Like I said, get it to you in the mail. May be able to find a 4x6 somewhere we can sign for him, and do that this Wednesday on this Wednesday's episode.
Might even drop a little something from Elevate Pro Wrestling in there for you.
Who knows? But I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. Nick, again, thank you. For the excellence of elocution, Walter Dixon.
If anyone else who's watching this show wants us to do a review of another card,
send us a message.
Any company, any promotion,
almost any promotion. Yeah, I will put the almost in there, because
there's
one,
maybe two that we will not touch with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. Thank God there ain't no video of them.
Yeah. Yet.
Well,
they're working on it.
Send in the clones.
Yeah.
I mean, clowns, damn it.
No, you had it right the first time with clones.
I did, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
It's been a long day. We've already went 4 hours on this one.
Yeah. Well, we took a little more time with this one.
And we took a break.
And we did take a pretty good break.
So, for that being said, for the excellence of elocution, Walter Dixon, I'm the Doctor of Professional Wrestling, Mike Blankenship, PhD, saying to you until next time, so long from the Bluegrass State.